Time's up. Attribution.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
When it comes to fans, it is a fan's right to have whatever opinion they want to have.
But guys, can't we just love everything Star Wars? It's all great. Touch me, please.
But I also hate you a little because you go and make it your business to try to make fun or try to get in. Yes, exactly. Half-breed putting her crotch in my face.
Bella Downsy fingered Dora the Explorer on HBO.
Well, we're talking about people who have serious sexual orientation and gender identity problems. And I'm not talking, and when I say sexual orientation, I don't mean, a dude who likes a dude and a chick who likes a chick. We're talking about people who think that they're non-binary and they don't know how to play with their holes and shit like that.
Oh,
so, Jesus Christ.
Jurassic Park didn't eat more out of Lilo's pie.
Fuck.
Stop touching my penis. Stop doing that. I did not consent to this type of touching. Stop it. It's wrong.
Bella Ramsey's non-binary, though, so the Hollywood
Shut up!
Reporter isn't
That is an ugly
respecting her
little
identity.
woman with the face of a mongoloid. Okay? That's what she is.
She does look like a changeling.
He's a she. He's a she. He's a she.
No, Warner Brothers is doomed. They can't take care of themselves. They're a limbless infant on the street begging, help me, please, but no one's going to do it because it's a goblin baby. So no one wants it. Point is, anybody that picks up that goblin baby, it's a diseased baby, and it's going to poison your entire company too because you're also dumb and stupid and you don't know what you're doing. Now, if you were smart, you could put cybernetics on it, create a little monster, run around here, then we have a lot of fun. But they're not that smart to make it even a cybernetic goblin baby that could cause destruction. That'd be fun. But here we are.
I love this metaphor.
Here we are.
Cybernetic.
We have nothing
that's
but
what Apple was describing. Joe was describing with Apple. That's cybernetic, baby.
Cybernetic goblin baby.
This is Harlem, baby, and we doing nothing but blackity blackities. I'm like, listen, sir, can we just have a superhero show? The cops are on my back, Luke. You gotta get these blue folks up off me, dog. I'm like, bruh, how much more of this I gotta watch?
Yeah, you're here to bang women. And he starts making Superman and bastardizes it, and they're like, oh my god, please come in my mouth.
Oh my.
you are. That's it. Write that one down. Okay, hang on.
I'm not on camera, though.
Yeah, but it's not going to stop me.
Look, I got no problem with the idea of punching me in the face with nostalgia penis. I get that. I understand this.
I use it. It's great. It's great. It's fantastic. You have to understand the glory of a good back scratcher. I don't know. I didn't know what I was missing all these years. It's fantastic. I'm tired of hurting my left arm to try and reach around. Box office.
You're doing it to yourself. I am not responsible for the degeneracy of this stream.
I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
The Legend of Korra took a diarrhea in my mouth and then told me to chew it, swallow it, vomit it, and then eat it again. Yo, you let that joint hit the back of your throat. Have you no shame?
You know the people playing Grand Theft Auto. If there's just going to be a random pride parade that pops up in the city, you know what assholes like me are going to do? I'm going to find the biggest fucking truck that I have, a 4x4, and fucking run through that fucking pride parade and fucking kill everybody. In a video game, YouTube. In a video game.
You are what your daddy is. You are what your daddy is. People don't want to hear
Rachel
it.
Zegler.
Yeah, Polish. Come on.
Yeah.
You are what your daddy is. It is what it is. Like, oh, I'm a Latina. No, your daddy is whiter than white. Stop.
Yeah.
Stop. You are what your daddy is. That's the line of succession. I don't make the rules. I don't create genetics. I don't create science. That's how the penis works. Okay? That's just how it works. And you think that anybody that says something otherwise is the racist? You crack-filled, heroin-smoking, porch monkey, white smoke, chocolate-eating moron. You're the racist.
Impressive. Most impressive.
I'd work with Haley Atwell every day.
But
With 2 hands. With 2 hands even.
Before you go, one question.
Yes?
Where in the galaxy is Sanusi?
Show us your tits and I'll tell you.
And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
I haven't eaten anything today, and I feel like my attention span's in a dangerous place right now. I completely zoned out 30 seconds ago, and I realized, there's a seam between my monitors here, where it's just between them, and I realized about 5 seconds ago I'm just staring at it. We might have a problem here today. Anyway, welcome, howdy, one and all, to the round table where we're a little shorthanded today. Dre had real life get in the way, so Dre could not be here. That is why certain stories I had planned today, we're going to punt them when we come back in 2 weeks. We'll talk about that later in the stream because it's a horrible, horrible thing happening next week. Anyway, but we are here. We got some good stuff for you, and as always, hi Jed.
Hi, Adam. I should be used to these terrible punts by now, but I still am expecting.
I don't
something
try
better.
it all anymore.
You don't try to. Well, chat. These streams are always wild and wacky, but we're in for a particular disaster, an extraordinary one. If Adam is really this bad at zoning out, so definitely stay tuned because something crazy must occur. When he zones out this much.
One of those,
his filter goes away.
Yeah, that's the thing. One of those random stream of conscious responses might happen, like the Goblin Baby or the porn rant. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Something
know.
like that's bound to happen.
I'm
you don't know what's going to trigger you.
I'm focused on that pit feeling I have right here because I haven't had a single calorie today. I've had a little bit of water. That's it, and not because I'm trying to do anything. It's because I didn't have anything prepared for lunch, and I slept until 1 because I didn't go to bed till late because I took a nap. Oh, here's how last night went. After we were done with driving, I ate dinner at 9 o'clock, so late dinner, and then around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I fell asleep and I woke up at around 11:30, right before the Gina Carano Ronda Rousey thing. So I saw the guys were in Discord and they had it on. I got a bowl of ice cream, which I enjoyed thoroughly. And I asked, how's it going? It's like, oh, it's starting. Oh, you're here. Okay, great. And then it was over. And the guys who were there were going, we waited 3 hours for this. And I said, well, I ate dinner and I had a nap and I eat some ice cream now. I didn't wait for anything. I'm fine. I mean, I had hoped we were going to get a good beat down, but so my disappointment level is not really there because I wasn't hanging my hopes on this. Also, I'm not into MMA. It's not a style of sports combat that really interests me because it either goes for a long time or is over in a second. It's one or two things. It's never engaged. That's why I would prefer boxing, the sweet science, over something like that back in the day when I did watch some boxing when I was younger, or a martial arts tournament like where you're actually watching skills put to the test, not grapplers looking for an opening to get a submission, stuff like that. So I didn't have any designs. I had hoped that Gina was going to kick her ass, but Ronda literally charged her, got her on the ground, and got the armbar on within 30 seconds. And it was over.
It was 17 seconds. 17? So yeah,
I was eating my ice cream, so I was kind of distracted.
I'm not a sports fan either. I don't watch MMA, but throughout the night, I would periodically check the stream to see, all right, we're still doing the pre-fights. and I caught it just in time before the fight was about to start. It's like, all right, it's going to start in the minute, whatnot. They're already in the ring, like it's seconds away from starting. And I literally glance away to shut down Stargate that we were watching. And by the time I looked back, it was over. So I glanced away, glanced back, and it was over. So I missed the whole fight.
And I was sitting here eating my ice cream, and I watched it happen. I thought, oh, she's got her on the ground. I couldn't tell who was in a powerful position. I couldn't tell if Gina was going to get her some sort of headlock or Ronda was setting up for something else. And then it was over because I realized, because I know Rousey's submission is the armbar. I know that. I know that much. Yeah, because I watched her when she was in WWE.
Neither of them got hurt though. Not really.
No. Well, that's why some people are saying, because it's a Paul Brothers bullshit, they're saying people are wondering if there's chicanery involved. I'm not gonna speculate because I don't want to.
From what I understand, their fight styles are so different that it wasn't a
Gina's
good
brawler.
And she's a kickboxer, I think I heard. And Ronda rules at the grappling. So
and
because Gina was on the ground, it was over.
It's gotten proven in the years that if Ronda takes a hit, she breaks. So Ronda Rousey does not want to get in a slugfest. She can't take a punch, from what I understand. So her game was to get Gina on the ground and make it over instantly before Gina could get some blows in and shake her confidence. So all that build up. Well, great. Only good thing coming out of this, Gina looks so good. She looks so
lost a lot of weight.
She looks so good.
There's their triumphant hug right afterwards. They were so happy. And it was more about getting Gina back in shape, because that's why Ronda offered the fight. She extended the invitation because Gina had been talking about her health concerns. She was pre-diabetic and she was really struggling. So this fight was more about keeping Gina healthy.
See,
and it did that.
I like svelte Gina. Thick Gina was okay, but I like svelte Gina. That's the Gina that I discovered in 2011, 2012 and thought, damn, that's a fine woman. And so seeing her back the way she looked at that rate of time when she was on American Gladiators, it's, pushed all the right buttons for me. I mean, but some people
taking you back to a younger man.
That's the sad part. It really is the sad part. Anyway, but yeah, so that was that last night, and then after that, I fucked around on Crimson Desert for about a half an hour. I got the other two horses, so because I won the race. There's no way to win that Derby without Royal, the white stallion. There's no way you're going to be fast enough to stay ahead of all of the remaining guys, especially the champion. You need, of course, I use the horse tonic too, or the horse steroids to maintain my speed without dropping my stamina. So I won those. I got the rider's chess piece, and the whip function is essentially, it's not when you're on the horse, it's before the horse. You whip the shit out of the horse before you get on it. It's horrible. But it worked though.
Really?
Their resistance to my basically the mini game for the wrangling evaporated. Once I got them locked in their motion for their bucking and they didn't switch on me, I got it easily, both the black one and the red one. So I picked those up for them, and now Damien and Unka have their own legendary horses, who I'm going to put in proper barding, because now that I know I can summon them for combat.
I never got a chance to do that.
Well,
or beating the game,
because you can't summon them for story stuff. You have to do it in non-story stuff. So now that I can summon them for combat, Kel's making fun of me because I sold the good horse I had for Unka by accident, which had all the cool barding and that had on it. And Kel goes, "Well, wouldn't it be nice if you had legendary horses for them?" And I said, "Fuck you." So now they've got the legendary horses. Now I just need to put barding on them. So when we all ride around, because when you summon your horse, they summon their horses too. So they're riding with you. So it's kind of cool. So when I do non-story related stuff, I summon Unka and Damien, and we kick some ass.
You really don't want to call her Damien.
It's Damien.
It is Damien.
It's Damien. That's a boy's name. Damien.
That's why I figured you keep changing it. Like you reject this reality.
I reject it. I blot it out. They say it in the game, and I forget it 5 minutes later.
How many hours are you in the game now? Over 300, right?
368.
I have reached saturation with it. I absolutely loved it. But after beating the main story, and there were some disappointing aspects of it, I was looking at my map, all the things I had left to do, and I didn't feel the desire to do it.
That's why I'm doing them before I finish the story, because once I finish the story until they come out with the DLC they're teasing now,
Mhm.
I'm gonna be done. I mean, I've done my time in the game. I've definitely, at least, I've gotten my money's worth at this point.
Oh, yeah.
I've been playing this game for 2
100%.
months with nothing else. It's the only game I've been playing. I've got almost 400 hours in it. By the time I'm done, I'll have over 400 hours in it. And this is not a game that's going to have high replay value for me. It isn't. I want to do all this shit again. No. It's a game that I'll come back to when they add things to it. That's what it'll be. But I want to keep doing the extra stuff because when I do the final stuff for the story, I at least want to look cool. I want to look cool. I want that Marnie helm, which looks essentially like a Norse winged helmet. So I want that helm. So and then I'll turn helmets back on and we'll all look badass. So when
you do finish the story, please let me know. I want to watch you play through the final chapter.
Okay.
Well, there's some craziness. Don't get me wrong; it's not all bad.
So what? Chapter 12 is the end of it.
Yes.
So I'm halfway through,
and then there's an epilogue, but the epilogue is nothing.
Well, see, I want to make sure I move back to Pyloon before everything because I did it. I got all the timber. Now I just need the food.
Now, do you manually move back to Pyloon because it's part of the story to move back to Pyloon as well?
Kel told me that even though it says when you're done you move back, if you talk to the Marquis, he'll move you back sooner because they have that whole section set up for you in Pyloon. I even made sure they put the farm in there. I did a mission. So I'd like to get back there as soon as possible. So I've been grinding that. And of course, after I did the timber, I completed the mission and I got a special item that would have a huge amount of timber deposited in the camp after I already done it. Because all I kept doing I finally just said, F it. I'm going to just keep respawning into camp, and the timber source kept respawning every time. So I just spent about an hour stocking up, finish it off. Now I just got to do the food, and I need fishing. But now that we have the clean all option, that's going faster because I need the fish to make fish skewers to make grand meals because I can get about 1.5 to 3,000 a pop depending on how many I can crank out. So that's not a problem. That's just I'm waiting on that one. Anyway, so there's your Crimson Desert stuff. But I fucked out Crimson Desert, and by the time I was done with that, it was 1 a.m., 2 a.m., and then I watched some anime, and because I slept for 2 hours, I wasn't tired until about 5 in the morning. So this whole thing started because I said I woke up at 1.
Do you want another quick tangent? I'm sure you'll get a little excited about this.
Okay.
So I am wearing this patch on my hat for a reason. As I mentioned earlier and on previous streams, my wife and I are watching Stargate again, SG-1. It's her first time watching the show. And I was rushing to finish the season 1 finale before jumping on this stream. Just got to that cliffhanger. They're looking at Earth from the Hatak, and the stakes are... Senator Kinsey is the biggest villain in science fiction history. I will stand by that.
Oh, yeah.
He's great, but I hate him so much.
Listen, Kinsey gets his just desserts. He gets exactly what he deserves in the end. He gets taken as a host for a Gould.
I would go full Edward Snowden at this invasion at the end of season 1 and say we could have tried to prevent this a little bit better, but he decided not to. He was an idiot, and I would full on leak that to the world.
Yeah. Yes. Whenever I do a rewatch, I tend to go right to the season 1 finale because it's just because I don't need to rewatch all of season 1. I've done it so many. Dude, I've been watching this. I've been watching this
season 1.
Dude, this is your second watch through. I've been rewatching this since 1998.
There's a lot of great stuff in season 1.
There is, but I like to just get to season 2 where they're starting to get their footing. And I don't need to get through some of the stuff that they don't necessarily retcon, but was very.
It's funny. My wife's least favorite character is Samantha Carter, and she's my favorite character. And I'm just like, she's gonna get better. I swear. I promise. Yes. She doesn't hate Carter, but it's like,
all right. Here's the glorious thing: they understood years later how bad my reproductive organs are on the inside. That line. There's when they do the mocking episode, the 200th episode, which is entirely a parody episode, and they bring in the essentially puppeteer episode. They play that, and they understand. They knew all this time later that was so bad.
It was really
so
cringe.
bad. And it was 1998, so it's not like there was any agenda going out there. It was just a bad badly written introduction for Sam. Just a bad introduction. But every character gets their turn. The only person who's good from beginning to end is Jack. Jack is just.
You don't think
Jack.
Teal'c?
They needed time to develop Teal'c. Teal'c was having Chris Judge be emotionless for 2 to 3 seasons. They ran that for a long time. Teal'c was a slow burn. Teal'c's a very slow burn because of that. And also, they didn't know what to do with his makeup for a while. They had the shine around his eyes, and then they start. Eventually, it's just the emblem, the Apophis emblem, and finally, then of course you get to seasons 5 and 6, and Teal'c has gone through so much. He's an actual character now, and Chris Judge is allowed to do more. So but the only guy that is great from beginning to end that doesn't need a maturation process is Jack O'Neill, because Richard Dean Anderson was a perfect choice for a anchor as a star of the show because he'd been MacGyver for 7 years.
He wasn't Kurt Russell's character in the slightest. I do not see them as something remotely similar.
He's got 2 L's. Jack O'Neill, 2 L's. There's another guy out there with 1 L. He's not a very nice guy. That joke at one point. Remember, 2 L's.
I remember that.
So that's the difference. He is, but he isn't because of 2 L's. And
I mean, they just explored the multiverse in a couple episodes ago with the mirror. So we'll just say it's a slightly different multiverse from the movie.
Can. Well, it has to be because
I hate James Spader's
you don't like James Spader now?
No. I much prefer Michael Shanks.
Well, I think Michael Shanks is an underrated actor because the more the show goes on, they give him so much to work with, and you don't realize he does a lot of the voices for the aliens. He's Thor, and he's a bunch of other characters.
He's a very talented voice actor.
And one of the best episodes is Ark. I believe it's season 8. It's season 7. No, it's season 7 after he comes back, after he left the show. It's when he downloads that entire civilization in his brain.
I remember that one. Oh,
that
my God,
he is just
such a good job.
He's just chewing scenery that entire episode. It's that is one of his best performances in the entire series.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it's the entire episode is essentially that room. And it's just Michael Shanks going from character to character to character, and it's great. That to me, that's a top 5 episode right there for his performance. On his performance alone, it's fantastic. All right, we've nerded out enough time.
Look how excited you get about classics.
Of course, I want to talk about good things because I'm about to punish myself in a week.
Yeah, we're not nihilists. We want to talk about good things.
Yes, listen. I talk about the bad things because it's the job. I don't do it because I want to. It's the job I've chosen on YouTube, which is why. The sooner you guys hit that like button, the sooner you subscribe, the sooner we get to a point where we're getting a lot of foot traffic here, and a lot of people are enjoying the channel, the channel's sort of growing. That's the sooner I put a book in your hands and we start doing the stuff we really want to do, and we can get away from torturing ourselves and only talk about fun things. So hit that like button, everybody.
Bad content.
Yeah. Hi, Dragon Lead.
Good evening. Well, I did not watch Jeter's fight because it was on at 2 a.m. over here, so slept right through it, and I didn't know anything about. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it until this morning, and I guess I didn't miss much because it went up for 17 seconds.
Nope, missed nothing.
Quicker than ass.
Like I said, my bowl of ice cream is more entertaining than that fight. Hey, that Turkey Hill Dutch chocolate, that's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Good stuff. Anyway, hell howdy. Oh, go ahead. What?
Oh, just real fast, I wanted to ask. I have a fan in my room now. I wanted to make sure you guys can hear it while I'm talking.
Nope.
Great.
My mic
is a
is
lifesaver. I just want to make sure.
Yeah. See, yeah, I should have extra air in here, but I don't, and I just suffer. Anyway, howdy to the chat. Thank you guys. I'm sure you guys were fine as we were nerding out. I'm sure you were fine, happily letting it happen. Anyway, howdy to the chat. Hail to the mods. Legatus. Algram, Ruben X is there too, doing the good work. Howdy to Dash. How you doing, Dash? Anybody else talking? Hail Arctic Warrior, how are you? Grappling is boring. Yeah, grappling is boring. Howdy doing, Frank? The horse BT. Hey, listen, I said as soon as I got that chess piece, I was going to whip the shit out of those horses because I am not good at that mini game when the horses change direction so rapidly. So I needed the advantage, and it's a built-in mechanic. And I did get one of them
PETA.
without it.
We gotta call PETA.
No. Well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, fuck yeah. Come on, PETA. Come on. I'm not afraid of PETA. What are they gonna do? Cry at me? I don't even own a pet. It's a
They might do
digital
a hunger
horse.
strike outside your house.
I don't own this land. They'll get arrested. This is I live in an apartment complex. Somebody else will call the cops because this is considered, this is private property, but it's not my private property, somebody else's, so not my problem. Fuck PETA. Anyway, listen, it's built-in mechanic, okay? And I got one horse legitimately, even though he got stuck on a rock. So I still got it. I got one of them okay without that. How you doing, Alex Vang? Hello. Hail, huzzah, son of Joxer. Watching season 7 SG1. That's good.
Hell yeah.
That's good. And anybody else who is not chatting and just watching, we are happy to have you here. We hope you're going to enjoy the rest of the show. We managed to just grind out a little bit of extra time with some nerd out discussion, which is what we tend to do. We toss it out there, see what happens. Hit those like buttons. Sit back, relax. Let's get started. Okay, no box office today because guess what? Nothing's there. Nothing. I don't care if Mortal Kombat made money or not. It's already a non-story at this point. Doesn't matter. It wasn't going to make a ton of money in the first place. We are not talking about box office until after Mandalorian and Grogu, and we'll be 2 weeks late on that. So it'll actually be interesting. We're not going to get to give a weekend breakdown next weekend, but when we come back in 2 weeks, we'll have the full story of what's going on. So we'll see what happens, and we'll find out if I get to point and laugh at people who are saying it's going to overperform.
I want to pose a rule change for the Day of Doom, and I think you'll be all right with it, but the chat might not be.
Okay.
I want to propose that your standage must only, like the requirement that you pretend to be a stan is only in effect when you're within the bounds of Galaxy's Edge.
That's fair.
If we are live streaming, because I want to live stream you walking into Galaxy.
Yeah, we have to.
We'll start from outside, and if we start from outside, we could briefly mention anything about the box office, and you can have your real opinions.
True, because we will have numbers that Monday. We will have numbers.
Just get out of your system a little bit, say what you really think, and then you pass the threshold. It's up to the chat,
fair.
But I think that is a fair rule addendum.
I think it's fair because it says on camera, but if we're not in Galaxy, it says as long as I always said as long as I'm on camera within Galaxy's Edge, or any recordings done at the movie theater, I have to be in character. But we're not there yet. Okay, Dash approves. That's all we need. Dash is the spokesman for the chat because he's here all the time. So
he's the chairman.
In that. Good sir, Algram the Strong for $99.99 for the care of Jed's fan. They should be present but not silent. The rest for Adam's Grogu popcorn bucket next week.
Oh, do you have to get a popcorn bucket?
Do they have popcorn buckets?
I'm sure they do.
We'll find out when we get there. We'll see.
Anyway, they might be sold out by then.
Yeah. But we ordered the tickets last night. We ordered our tickets, and now the first theater we were looking at was already mostly full because that's the normal one. That's the front up one. The second, the one we went to, which had slightly cheaper tickets because fuck this movie, we're not going to give it as much money as least amount of money as we can. Empty. Jed, I'm not lying. That theater was empty. The ones we got seats in.
There was maybe 4 seats taken.
Yeah. And now there's
about it.
Our seats.
And it's a big one. It's not a tiny one. Like
it's
a
stadium.
Good 25 rows.
It's stadium. It's full stadium. So yeah, empty. Memorial Day, holiday. So, and remember, we're in enemy territory when we're going to go see this movie. We're in Disney Springs. So we're expecting these to be, when we talk about what is the people going to see this, we expected this theater to have some traffic because this is enemy territory. These is where the Disney adults are, all that kind of shit. But the fact that we found one, and we're at a prime time, 8:45. We're going in the early evening. Nobody there. Week out now. And the other one was basically sold out. We had to be very careful picking our final seats there. It was mostly full. So, but thank you, good sir Algram, for that generous donation.
I looked up the popcorn bucket, and it's also funny and sad what they picked. They picked AT-ATs.
That's so safe. That's so safe.
I figured they'd do Baby Yoda, maybe the little egg thing he travels around in. But no,
yeah, that could be anything Star Wars if you drop it in AT-AT. That's anything.
Yeah.
Now, you're AT-AT fan, right? Not AT-AT?
AT-AT. People say AT-AT are idiots. I'm sorry.
It sounds retarded, but especially with AT-ST. How do you say the AT-ST?
Exactly. That is my.
That's how I say them as well.
You always say AT-AT because then how do you say AT-ST? That you zeroed in on my argument for years.
Yeah, that's the best argument for it.
Yeah. And Brad is going on Thursday, so Brad will be able to basically tease us with how bad it probably is all through Monday while we're walking around. So it'll be interesting.
A hut.
Oh no.
They could have done the roided out hut.
I'm eating out of Rada. That's not bad.
Have his tail be the straw of the cup.
Anyway, so we'll talk. We're going to go over the Day of Doom at the end of the stream. So we'll get back into that because we will be talking Disney Star Wars. We got a couple of Disney Star Wars topics. One is, of course, the Mandalorian and Grogu cope. It's real. It is real what's going on right now between the shill media. They're running cover, but or not so much running cover. They're softening the blow, but the stands are losing their minds. And at the same time, there is a weird thing going on. Not only are they hyper defending this movie, they're once again hyper defending the sequel trilogy and Disney Star Wars as a whole. It seems they feel like they have a winning argument. And I'm going to bring up a few statements, a few posts here that I'm going to show the deranged nature through which they're seeing things. After that, then we're going to talk Christopher Nolan and the Odyssey again, because while I said the shill media is sort of softening the blow from Mando and Grogu, Jed, you've seen it. They're running full blocking for Christopher Nolan right now. Variety and Variety, the Time article the Time article is there. We're going to pick out the quotes because I read through that Time article. It's a giant fluff piece. It's a giant fluff piece. No criticism whatsoever. It's, he's so great. Everybody works so hard.
The arguments are terrible. One thing you'll notice with the people defending Nolan is the best way that they can accomplish that is by degrading the source material. They're like, it's fake, right? It doesn't matter. It's just fiction. Homer might not even have been real.
It's just Space Wizards.
Care? It's just Space Wizards.
Yeah.
It's
made for kids.
It's so much worse with Homer because it is one of the most enduring works. His works are so impactful to Western civilization. So dismissive of a cornerstone of who we are as a species.
Yeah. So we're going to take a look at Nolan losing. Nolan, I mean, we're going to ask a question. Is this who Nolan always was in his personality? Or is he just now drunk so much of his own Kool-Aid that he believes his own mystique that he can get away with this shit? So
I definitely don't think it's the Oscar thing that Elon's been going on. I think it has nothing to do with the Oscars.
He's already got his
Oppenheimer got 7 Oscars, and that's a pretty much all white cast. So it's not for diversity Oscar quotas.
Because there are loopholes for that. You don't need to put in the cast. That's what I'm saying. Has Nolan drunk his own Kool-Aid so much that he thinks he's untouchable with his decisions at this point? So
he's never gotten criticism like this.
No, and that is an excellent point. So put a pin in that one. And I said, we had a gaming topic that I want to talk about, but without Dre here and his industry insight on that, I kind of want to leave it till he's here for that. So we're going to punt that for 2 weeks when we come back, because as we said earlier, those stories will still be here because they're not evolving stories. They're just upcoming possibilities that may change the way we look at how we grade the success of launches in games. Okay, so we're going to put a pin in it. I have them bookmarked. They're not going anywhere. All right, so let's talk Disney Star Wars.
Or do you want to get Nolan Pascal in his suit?
Oh God, what?
Did you see that video?
No. All right, what do you want to do? You want to do Disney Star Wars first, or you want to get Nolan out of the way?
I'd say Disney Star Wars.
Okay, all right. We'll do Disney Star Wars first.
Keep with your plan.
Yeah. Ask us a question again in about half an hour when we get to that. So, all right. So, Pedro Pascal in his suit. What are you talking? Oh, at the premiere?
No. Oh, what he was wearing at the premiere was fucking terrible. But do you want to react to a video of him in the Mandalorian suit, surprising fans?
Sure.
So
I don't know what you're talking about. So okay.
I don't know if you knew what what Smuggler's Run is.
I haven't. Isn't that the thing that the Millennium Falcon ride? Is that what that is?
Yes.
Where you get in the cockpit and just push
Disneyland.
buttons.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
This is in Disneyland, California.
You know, it's probably the second time he's been in that because 90% of the movie, that's not him.
He looks so uncomfortable.
Because he's
Do you know
never
who is in the suit?
Stuntman.
John Wayne's grandson is what I heard.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. I didn't know that.
Someone of talent, probably.
So an actual, but the stuntman, I mean, because he's a voice actor. And except for those couple scenes we've seen where he's going to fight the giant snake creature and he's in front of the twin huts who may or may not be conjoined. He's not in that suit in the movie. It's his stuntman. It's a stuntman. So he's never worn this. He doesn't even want to take the helmet on and off. Watch him. We just like,
I don't think they're going to hear my welcome.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he's struggling with that helmet.
Travelers, come in.
Are you guys ready for this? I don't think you're ready for.
Oh my God!
How they respond to him.
We're gonna get what I'm gonna pretend to be is what I feel this is gonna be. Oh my God.
Mandalorian, do you have anything to say before we send our travelers on their journey?
Jeez, I just died.
Those are these are people who, are.
These are influencers that were picked out ahead of time.
Oh, they're influencers? Oh,
no. That's my opinion. That's pure speculation. No evidence for it.
No, see, I don't know. These are people who completely buy into this stuff. They buy into this. They are all in. They are the type of people that we're going to be talking about here in just a short bit because there's two parts to our discussion here when it comes to Star Wars. There's the Mandalorian and Grogu cope. So it starts with this. Let me get it up here. Let me find the right one here. Okay, so fuck off, Hollywood Reporter. I don't want to allow ads. Fucking allow ads. Go fuck yourself. No.
The ad situation on the internet has gotten ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. Yeah. And because it detects my ad blocker now on Chrome. Anyway, and we're not actually, I just need it up here to scroll through it. So here's where we begin. We are now days away from the premiere of Mandalorian and Grogu. It's going to premiere on Thursday, on Thursday night, and then, of course, holiday weekend, Memorial Day. We already know this movie is not tracking well. They're aiming, at best, maybe it's $85 million, maybe not even does. If it gets over $80 million, that will be overperforming for an opening weekend, but it's not going well because there's no interest. But that will not stop everybody from trying to soften the blow. So, of course, the shill media are going to try and pretend. So, Hollywood Reporter a couple days ago dropped this because we don't have no reviews. The embargo gets lifted on the 19th, which, of course, what are reviews? What are reviews? They're worthless anyway. The people who are doing the reviews...
Anyone with early access wants to keep that early access.
Exactly. These are not the people who you trust. And, of course, it doesn't matter whatever the Rotten Tomato score is. It doesn't matter. It's all a broken system. What matters are the weekend reviews when people start posting videos and live streams like we would normally do at that point in time. It'll be delayed for me because I'll be in Florida. But that's the ones that matter, the real reviews. People who aren't going like this.
Even these first reactions have been interesting. Did you see Grace Randolph?
No, she might even be in here. So here's the Hollywood Reporter. As we go down here, they have nothing to say. They say one thing here about who's in it, what's it going to be about. They actually tell us what it's about now. The movie is about Din Djarin and his apprentice Grogu, who are recruited for a mission by the New Republic in which they must rescue Rod of the Hutt while avoiding Imperial remnants and deadly bounty hunters. We've been asking, what is the story for all this time? There's the story, Jed.
Those are really high stakes.
But Jed, don't you understand? High stakes don't matter. It should just be a fun movie where I'll save it. I've got nice little comments here. But after that, then they just show all of these responses. Now here, because because the ads are working, it's showing the actual post. It's just post after post of social media influencers and stands, and some people who are not stands. It's a mix. It's anywhere from "it's glorious, it's very fun" to, and I don't have any of these marked, to "it's just okay," or feels like it's just an extended television episode, which is what we've been saying it only is. So that's all this is. Just a lot of that, and most of the stuff is stand bullshit. So this is the extent.
Is this story was going to be the end of season 4, the 2-part finale of season 4. They got rid of the filler, and this is literally their plans for season 4.
This was their main story arc for season 4.
Those are the reports. And consistently, they're all saying it's a beautiful spectacle movie. Even Grace Randolph said that, but she tried to slip in there. Yeah, but the story's not good at all.
Yeah, but
it's pretty.
All right. Jed, you have to understand this. I've seen according to Chris Killian, who I don't know who the fuck this is, I've seen The Mandalorian Grogu. Above all else, M&G is a super fun Star Wars movie. It's not perfect. That's the kind of thing that's running through a lot of these early reporting.
When stands say it's not perfect, you know it's going to be crap.
And the ultra stands are so angry that they keep saying that because you're feeding into the Chud narrative. Don't you understand? You're saying that it needed to be more. It's Star Wars. It kind of does need to be more. It's not perfect, but there's a lot of fun for fans to love. It plays like an extended episode with double the budget and moves from one incredible action set piece to the next. IMAX is a must. Jed, you know what that tells me? It tells me it's all spectacle and no substance, if that's the response here.
I mean, that's consistently what I'm hearing from these people. All spectacle, no substance, which means I'm not interested. There's a reason I hate the Avatar movies. Because they're all spectacle, no substance, and people glaze them like they're the greatest piece of cinema ever, then immediately forget them.
Good dad story.
Spectacle is only enduring if it's revolutionary. Like Ray Harryhausen, the spectacle of his movies, it was revolutionary and enduring because of that. Avatar 1, I will argue it was revolutionary for the time, so it deserves its place in cinema history. But there's nothing new about what we're going to see in this film. There's nothing groundbreaking in the spectacle.
So you could see this guy. He might even be in here, but it's just these are the kind of responses throughout this whole thing. It's mostly that, but it's mixed, and that's why you read that it's mixed. There's a lot of either stand, slobber, suck it down to it's not that great. It's a few of them thrown in there, but that's the early response. That tells me. Excuse me. That tells me that when we get through this Memorial Day weekend, the word of mouth is going to be garbage and there'll be no repeat viewing because contrary to a statement we're going to deal with in the other half of this conversation, Star Wars is not made for kids. That's the thing George Lucas came up with long after he had Carrie Fisher running around without a bra, bouncing all over A New Hope.
It's made for families, sure, family friendly,
but
there's a difference.
Yeah, and the longer it goes on, the more hardcore it does get with some things. People dying, limbs getting sliced off, heads getting chopped off. How many times has Yoda cut off heads in Revenge of the Sith Clone Trooper heads? He cuts off a lot of Clone Trooper heads, a lot of decapitation. In the beginning, Dooku gets decapitated in the beginning of Revenge of the Sith. So it's not, that is not something you say, hey kids, look, decapitation.
Empire Strikes Back is not kid friendly.
No,
not made for kids. It's a great film though.
Yeah, but here's the point. So there's a lot of
Disney
false
is a
narratives.
kid brand. They want
Yeah.
to be for kids, so they're
Yeah.
rewriting it and focusing so much on late stage George, who can't be trusted in anything he says, only what he does to
George-
fuel the changing of the brand.
Exactly. George is a walking hypocrisy of his own words. Not because he's a hypocrite. He's a hypocrite just because I don't think he keeps track of half the shit he says over the years. And George is a super creative. And that type of super creative lives in their own orbit, their own world. And it's very in the moment with them. 1 minute he'll call Disney white slavers. And the next minute he'll say, oh, I guess they sort of took a couple of my ideas. It's okay. So that's the thing. You have to understand George Lucas. And when you understand how George Lucas speaks, how he gives interviews, you can tell when he's being serious and when he's forgotten he has said something. So to tell the line, his famous line, which you like to throw out there, just remember, Star Wars is made for 12-year-old boys. Well, no, George, you didn't make it for 12-year-old boys. You made the toys for kids. That's because you wanted to make money.
Absolutely.
But you made Star Wars for everybody, really, without the irony of that was for everybody. No, he made it for everybody. It's not for kids. It's merchandise for kids, but it's for everybody, which is why it endured for 30 years until 2012. All right, but now we reintroduce one of my favorite new targets. This guy, Tatooine Sons, we have had him on this show as a punching bag multiple times. We're actually going to hear him talk today, Jed.
Oh no!
Oh, he is a soy boy to the max. But he says this. After seeing reviews, here is my gut reaction. Jed, there haven't been any reviews released. Remember
just
that.
Reactions. There's
Just
still an embargo
this.
till Tuesday?
19th. The 19th. So if that's Tuesday, that's the 19th.
That is
Yeah, Tuesday. Okay. This is all we've had. X posts. So there are no legitimate reviews released. So already, this guy is just like Jeremy at Manabite, this guy is a liar. He creates a situation and then frames it to fit his talking points. So he's already caught in a lie. There are no reviews. These are just statements on how they feel about it. Anyone who goes to see Mando and Grogu looking to have fun watching a new Star Wars movie is going to have a blast. Which means if you're a brain-dead Disney Star Wars stan who's bought into everything since 2012, you're going to be fine. But if you are a questioning individual, anyone who goes into it hoping for a galaxy-shattering implications with extensive exploration of Star Wars lore and cameos for major characters that change everything you know about the future of the franchise will walk away terribly disappointed. First of all, Jed, who are the ones that go for cameos all the time?
It's usually them. They're usually like, oh, pretty, I see before. And I have no confirmation on this, but the fact that Rhoda the Hutt's in it leads me to believe Ahsoka is going to be in this film at least a little bit. Because do you remember who Rhoda the Hutt is?
Yeah,
from previous to this?
Yeah, he's the little what did she call him in that in that bad horrible movie?
What was her nickname for him?
I don't remember.
It's like Slinky or something weird.
Something like that, wormy, something. I don't know. That is a terrible 3 episodes they turned into a movie. Just horrific. Horrific. Why are we rescuing? See, that's Dave Filoni, though. Let's rescue Jabba the Hutt's son.
Stinky. It was Stinky.
There it is, Stinky. There it is. Brad got it, Stinky. Chat's got it, Stinky. Yeah, so, but right there, they're the ones that are always actively excited for cameos. They are the ones who are excited about the Rebels cameos in this. They're excited for things coming back from Mandalorian. Real fans, we don't want to see Luke Skywalker tainted any further. Real fans don't want to see Ahsoka.
You want to see Zeb, though?
That's a Rebels thing. That's Rebels garbage. Nobody cares about Rebels. They can pretend all they want that Rebels is a hit. Rebels is not a hit. It's terrible storytelling. If Dre was here, I'd let him go off on it because he's the only one who's watched it all the way through, but he's not here. Point is...
Oh, I've seen Rebels all the way through.
Oh, you have? Oh, so you know it's terrible.
It was garbage,
Yeah. I've seen enough of it to know it's garbage. But this statement right here, it's what we call reality inversion. They're the ones who need cameos to change the lore to fit these stories. Disney Star Wars is the thing that uses cameos to alter the lore, to change George Lucas' Star Wars. There is, and when you say something like this, it have galaxy-shattering implications. Jed, it's called Star Wars.
It is called Star Wars.
That means there's constant war. And the constant war is what's constantly changing the galaxy.
And this
you
is
can
why
let me finish one second. Let me go. But let me finish a statement. You can have little adventures within it that are snapshots of stuff that maybe are not Jedi or Sith or the good versus evil narrative, little things. But it should always be an overarching Star War going on, a war across the galaxy that is reshaping it constantly. There's never enduring peace. That's the thing about Star Wars. That's why even when you go back to the time of the Old Republic, if you look at real things with the real Star Wars, that's why everything still sort of looks the same. Because there's constant war. There's never time for peace and innovation and improvement. It's the same. They're locked in a particular technological loop. They don't get to go any farther. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, that's the thing. The movies have to have that stake. For a book, a comic book, a TV show, you can have those snapshots. But in a franchise like this, with the hierarchy of canon that we talk about, the movies are the centerpiece. And the centerpieces have to have consequences. They need to be big moments. So like a TV show, like the Mandalorian TV show, if it were written well, I'd have nothing against it having tiny stakes. It makes sense for a TV show. Or if they wanted to do a TV movie for this, same idea. But when you go into the cinema with a franchise like this, people expect something large, something to care about. You only have 2 hours to get people invested in this world and to care about the stakes. You need to have the stakes be large. It's called, just like you said, it's called Star Wars.
Yeah, and
take that name off of it.
How many times have we talked about canon tier in terms of, now none of this is canon to Star Wars, but when we have to talk about it, movies are at the top. When something goes in a movie theater, that trumps everything. So like you just said perfectly, there needs to be large stakes. There needs to be something that moves the needle, moves the story, moves the narrative. Apparently, rescuing Rod of the Hutt for the fake New Republic from the Imperial Remnant, that's nothing. That's a side
filler
mission.
Episode of a television show.
It's a fucking side mission that you want to make sure you get done before you go back to the main storyline and the events are, and you move on from that area of the story. You can't go back and do it anymore. That's what this is.
Can you imagine if Amazon came back with Stargate right now, what they're doing, and instead of making a TV show, they bring it to cinemas for the first time since the 90s, right? And it's a day in the life. It's catching up with Sam Carter. It's like, yeah, she married Jack, and they're still doing what they're always doing.
I love that personally. I'm there for that.
I'd love to see that, but not
20
as a
years waiting for that
cinema
shit. That's
experience. As an episode in the TV show, that would be fine.
Yeah.
But as their cinematic return since the 90s movie, that would be infuriating.
In all honesty, that kind of story is made for the super hardcore Sam and Jack shipper like me, who sat there for 25 years waiting for it. That's what I'm there for. But that's not movie stakes. That's epilogue. That's an epilogue where I get my happy ending. Not some new enemies here, and it's to scrape up some Ori tech or some shit like that, and now they're gonna do and they merge it with some Gould tech or something like that, or some Asgard remnant tech, and they're gonna do some sketchy, horrible shit. That's what that is. That's a movie tier problem. But back to this though. This is the sentiment from these people. They're telling you to be okay with being stupid. Be okay with accepting slop, because that's what Disney Star Wars is. It is slop. It is the dog taking the shit in the guy's mouth just waiting for it. And they're happy because they don't expect anything. So Mandalorian Grogu is made for these people because that's what they think Star Wars is. And that's now where I want to go with this next part of this conversation. So we've addressed the part that the defense for Mandalorian Grogu is very thin. It's very thin. It's very light. It's essentially they're talking in circles about their points. And if you don't like it, well, you're a MAGA chud, because that's where we're going with the next part.
That's the only explanation.
Yeah. Now they go to this stuff here. But first of all, as I said, we want to hear from Tatooine Sons. I forgot I had this, so I apologize. I was transitioning to the next part, but I forgot we had this. He has been very vocal with his TikTok-esque videos about, first of all, his stance is Disney needs to ignore the Star Wars fan and market to non-fans, and that, remember, it's for kids. It's for kids. So we're going to listen to him now, and I apologize to everybody about this. I apologize to everybody. Disney is gambling with the marketing for Mando and Grogu, and I think it's going to pay off big. This guy goes on for 2.5 minutes. I apologize now. We might pull it up short, but already, Jed, soy.
He looks exactly like I expected him to.
Do you see what his shirt is?
It's
clone helmets. It's helmets, Mandalorian and clone helmets. I'm gonna say this. It's one thing to wear something to a premiere or a con, what you love, but this is the forced fake fan perception of how you behave in public as a fan. I've bled Star Wars since 1983. I wouldn't be caught dead wearing shit like this. Maybe at a con, if I would go to a con.
All right,
again,
new tier for the Dave Doom.
Too late for that. Besides, you got to find something that fits me. My shoulders are large. Anyway. All right, so this guy... Sorry, something fell in another room. Hang on a second. Okay? Okay. All right. Sorry about that. This guy is carrying so much water right now. And when it's disingenuous and it reeks of theater, Jed. And also now a TikTok video like this is bad. So let's hear what he has to say. This is now the culmination of carrying the water. And dude, that hair ain't working.
No sound.
Didn't I share it? Did I hit the wrong one? Sorry.
You know that's a latte he's drinking. It's got to be.
It's a latte. It's a latte or it's a boba. Who knows?
It does look like James Gunn.
Well, this guy also carries water for James Gunn too. I've seen it. He carries water for the DCU. This guy carries water for DCU. He carries water for Rings of Power. He carries water for everything.
Of course he does.
All right.
And I'm sorry, chat. I briefly considered not telling him that there was no sound to spare us. But...
Yeah, but then that's gonna be bad. That'll be bad. Anyway, all right.
Disney is making a huge gamble with the marketing for The Mandalorian and Grogu. It's going to pay off. There's a couple of different ways that you can market a major IP like
the fucking quick cuts. Don't know.
this. You can go after your diehard fan base, or you can go after the general public. The problem with the diehard fan base for Star Wars is that it's so divided at this point. You've got about 10% of the diehard.
Why is that?
He doesn't understand. He doesn't understand. He considers himself and those who look. Oh, that's a good screenshot right there. Look at this guy. That is the smugness of somebody who sniffs their own farts right there. These are people who think that they're the fans and consider us the ones who love real Star Wars, or people like myself who were there for all those for the 30 years, 83 to 2012, who bought everything. This guy probably never bought a single thing before 2012. I guarantee. Maybe he bought some VHSs. I bet he's even younger than me too. This guy just looks old. I bet he's younger than I am. I would.
He's probably a millennial. I wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, the soy grays him fast.
The thing that these people don't understand is that your diehard fan base is your deepest well of free marketing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you always say, these fan bases keep these franchises alive through their wilderness years, just like Doctor Who. Yep. They're the ones who keep the torch alive, so you can keep making content. It keeps it relevant. And then when something good comes out that the diehards like, they shout it from the rooftops like they've been doing for the last 40 years. Yep. And that saves so much money. Word of mouth is more valuable than any type of marketing out there. And diehards, they're diehards because they care and they won't shut up about it. So that's a great wellspring of free marketing. If you just go straight for the general public and alienate your diehards, you rely only on traditional marketing. And these days, traditional marketing, it is in its worst state ever. Mm-hmm. People are disenfranchised with it. Trailers hardly say anything anymore. They all look the same. They all feel the same. They're all using 80s rock music for the most part. So the general public is detached. Without someone who cares to sell these people on a product, normies are not getting invested. That's one reason why they have to keep making remakes and long lost sequels, reboots, prequels, everything like that, because traditional marketing doesn't work anymore, because they're so bad at it and so bad at storytelling. So going for a normie audience is the worst decision you could make in the current landscape.
Also, because the normie audience doesn't spend money. They'll buy your ticket once. They're not the ones who are going to buy merch. They're not the ones who are going to go for repeat viewings. And you get to large box offices through repeat viewings. Jed, you are not the normie audience for Project Hail Mary. You were the diehard fan, and you saw it 6 times in theater.
I did.
And you're going to buy
own it.
And you're going to buy multiple versions of it for your collection, because you want to build a collection. When it has an anniversary release, you're going to buy an anniversary release.
I'm going to buy that 4 hours director's cut. And if they don't release it, I'm going to track down the directors and stalk their asses until they do.
Point is, that's where we get the fanatic part of being a fan. But the point is, fans will drop the money. They're the ones who are going to go buy the obscure shit. They're the ones who are going to buy the toys, even if they're not a kid, because they want to have it for a collection. Keep it in the box, put it on the wall, and look at it and say, yes, I own this.
One of me is worth 10 normies for Project Hail Mary.
Yes.
Easily.
Because the normies might have seen it twice, or they might have gone back with a group, but they don't go by themselves. Normies, listen, I have all the respect in the world for the normies. Normies make the world go round. The normies run the world. Without the normies, the world grinds to a halt. But the normies are pack animals. They're they're herd animals. Sorry, I meant to say herd animals. I meant pack wolf. They're herd animals. They go with the herd. And if the herd goes another direction, and as someone who has lived on a ranch, myself, you can't steer a herd very easily unless you stupidly go out in the field with the vehicle that they usually get fed with and not know it. And then they'll chase you down, which happened to me once because I didn't know that the vehicle was what they put the feed packs on. And that was a exhilarating, thrilling, and terrifying experience. How about 30 cows stampeding after you, and what you're in only goes a maximum of 25 miles an hour. And unfortunately, they were dumb and they don't understand shortcuts. So I managed to take a shortcut through a tree grove and get enough distance. So I got the hell out of there and yelled for somebody to open the gate so I could get out. I was just taking a joyride in the field. Anyway, different story. Point is, normies are herd animals, and you can't turn the herd easily. And it's hard to keep them going in the same direction, which is why you need cowboys and stuff like that, or things to keep them lined up.
You need a lot of help.
You need a lot of help. This guy doesn't understand that. He doesn't understand that his niche, small, needle thick stand base are not going to pay for anything. And that by abandoning the real fans, who he considers the chuds, the angry nerds, likely MAGA heads, that kind of guy. I guarantee this guy is a commie Marxist. Guarantee it. He doesn't understand that, as you said, Jed, from 83 to the 90s to the 2000s, people like me were the ones that bought all the books, played the games, bought random merch. When I was in high school, I had an R2-D2 beanie plushie hanging from my rearview mirror because he was my co-pilot, my astromech co-pilot in my car. All right? We buy the weird shit. We buy the magazines. We watch.
And that's why the merch around Star Wars was $1 billion industry for a long time.
That's why George was a billionaire before he sold it to Disney, because of merch and the dedication. And we'll come back to that point in a little bit. This guy doesn't get that.
Doesn't matter what that Disney Star Wars puts out, they are going to hate it.
Because it's shit.
They have a consistent track record.
Yes. We are what now? 12 plus 4. We're almost 15 years in at this point. Jed, consistent track record is the perfect word. Consistency of shit.
We'll find a reason why it's garbage, and they will go out and make tons of YouTube videos.
We just make rage-baiting YouTube videos. This guy is in line with Jeremy from Manabite. They work together on posting shit.
Not everyone's a rage baiter. In fact, I despise rage baiting almost as much as stand-em.
All I do is tell the truth of what I see, Jed. All I do. But these guys are totally believe that we do it because we have to maintain our rage-cultivated audience. That's what they believe.
Saying how horrible it is. And you have this group in the middle that's more the general public, the normies.
This guy has no idea what a normie is. He has no idea what a normie is. The general public is not in the middle. General public is not a part of the equation of a fandom. They're the general public. Jed, if you're a normie, that means you're not a part of a fandom, right?
Exactly.
You're a normie. You're not in the middle. You're outside. You need to be coaxed in, convinced. If Dre was here, to borrow his phrase, you need to be seduced. You need to be seduced.
And it's always a temporary seduction. One event at a time is all you can seduce them in for.
One of every 1,000 normies may turn into a hardcore fan after being seduced. That's essentially how it works. That's how it works. And then it takes the fans nurturing their families, their next generation, to create the next hardcore fan.
Ones that are going to make or break any new movie right now.
He doesn't understand that. He gets that. Normies make or break a movie. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's true.
Newsflash, they're not going to show up for this movie.
Especially a new Star Wars movie. And that is the marketing that they're going after with The Mandalorian.
How? Jed, what marketing have you seen for this movie aimed to tantalize the normies?
None, because they are focusing at maybe not cameos, but look at Star Wars. There's an AT-AT. Look at Star Wars. There's this character you've seen before. There's a lot of, hey, look at this. Isn't this Star Wars? That is marketing for what they imagine the diehard fan base is.
Yeah.
But what's more important to the diehards is the feel of Star Wars, the themes of Star Wars, the heart of Star Wars, the good writing of Star Wars.
The good versus evil.
Good versus evil. And yeah, the marketing has been exclusively, hey, remember The Mandalorian? Hey, remember Rebels? Hey, remember AT-ATs?
Hey, remember Grogu?
Remember Sigourney Weaver?
Yeah. Yeah. And the marketing has been so narrow. It's all been social media. It's been or at least with social media, or a shitty thing on Tubi when you pause it. There's Grogu force popping popcorn into his mouth, saying Mandalorian Grogu on May 22nd. That's their marketing.
Even the fucking beer commercial is, hey, remember Tauntauns?
Yeah.
Grogu. It's the kind of guy that I saw at church the other night who came up to me because I was wearing a Star Wars shirt, and he's like, "Did you know that there's a new Mandalorian and Grogu movie?"
I don't believe that for a second. And why are you wearing? See, I wear my Star Wars shirt everywhere, guys. I'm a fan. No,
pretty performative.
It's performative. And guy at church, I don't believe him. I don't believe him. I feel like it's manufactured.
Be coming out next week. Of course, I knew there was a Mandalorian and Grogu movie coming out next week, but he hadn't heard about it until the marketing kicked in about 3-4 weeks ago.
Jed, he just made our point for us. Weak ass marketing. They have been if the Super Bowl commercial, if that didn't tell you in February there's a Mandalorian and Grogu movie, then you failed. Because remember that Super Bowl commercial? That didn't tell you there's a Mandalorian and Grogu movie. That just showed Mando and Grogu on a Tauntaun sled telling you to remember a Budweiser beer feels.
Yeah, people forgot about it immediately.
Yeah.
The marketing's been going for a lot longer than 2-3 weeks.
The trailers have been out since last year. The teaser trailers have been out for a long time. He just unironically broke his own narrative. The marketing for the normies has been shit. If his rando buddy at church first only heard about it a couple of weeks ago. Unbelievable. They don't see it. They don't see it.
By comparison, just for a recent example, I'm not saying it's a good example, but a recent example. When Avengers Endgame was coming out, the world was talking about it. Even people who had stopped watching Marvel, never watched Marvel, something like that, they knew about it. You could not escape Endgame's lead up because it was good marketing and good word of mouth after Infinity War.
And I got a perfect example. My mom, she is classically literature art trained, but when it comes to nerd stuff, she's essentially a normie. She relies on me to tell her stuff. Back during Endgame, she was finding that shit on her own for Avengers, Infinity War, and Endgame. She was listening to that stuff on her own. Didn't need me. Didn't need me at all.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
Pretty major
That's a
way.
sign of good marketing.
Yes, and at that point, that's before the curtain got lifted. They still understood good marketing back then.
So here's what Disney
is
going after. They are going after a very general audience and a younger audience. They're trying to skew towards families with kids. They're looking for John and Mary, who got married during the sequel trilogy. And
what?
This is more of if you make it for everyone, you make it for no one.
And that doesn't make any sense to me. He just said you're going for people who exist in the Disney Star Wars era, who have proven repeatedly, if we go by television metrics, nobody watches Disney Star Wars. And
the sequels are dead.
And by the time you got to Rise of Skywalker, that thing lost money. We know that. Forbes proved it. That thing lost money. We know what the actual budgets were at this point. So this guy, and I said it in response to his shit like this, is a guy who doesn't understand gross versus net. He doesn't understand marketing. He doesn't understand break even. He doesn't understand the viewing public.
And at this point, haven't been paying attention to Star Wars with any normalcy for the last 7-8 years. They haven't.
You're pretending that these people have kids. And you're pretending some of them do, but these are not people. People who are interested in Disney Star Wars likely aren't married or have kids. Let's be honest. This soy beta male who makes this whole thing about watching it with my sons, he's raising his sons wrong. I'll say that now. But go ahead.
I want to think about a comparison here. Okay. So, if I remember correctly, Revenge of the Sith came out in 2005. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And Force Awakens was 2015, so 10 years. And Rise of Skywalker was 2019 and 2026 now, so 7 years versus 10 years between theatrical releases. That's getting close to the same period of time. Do we remember how insane the lead up to Force Awakens was?
Yes.
Yes.
Because I was miserable.
I'm not saying the movie was good. I'm not saying the movie was good.
We're talking hype.
The hype for it was next level. I'd never seen anything.
I was miserable.
Like that.
I was miserable when it was happening because all I saw was the destruction of something I love was beginning, and nobody was listening to me. Nobody wanted to hear what I had to say.
One of my when I was at work at the time, and one of my fellow co-workers was a huge Star Wars fan, and after she saw Force Awakens, she was like very disappointed. She'd been a Star Wars fan since New Hope first came out in 1977, and she went to see that when it first came out. So she did not like Force Awakens. She hated Rey as a character.
A lot of normies did too.
Mm-hmm.
And she did not like the other two that followed afterwards when I asked her about them and see what she thought, and she was not impressed.
Yeah.
But the brand was in a very healthy place after Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah.
It was in a great place. And I am someone who believes absence makes the heart grow fonder when it comes to franchises. Like, it is good to have a little bit of break between movie trilogies, just like George. Maybe it's a little bit long between the original and the prequel.
But here's the thing, though. During that period of time, the Clone Wars TV show started, and that did make a whole new generation of Star Wars fans.
It did.
That show. At the same time, though, the books and the games were going so strong. Comics,
keeping the
novels,
diehards happy,
video games.
But
there was so much to do. Tabletop, miniatures. There was so much to do, and as we said, it made George billions of dollars. Lucasfilm. I mean, here's the thing. Let me get this. I'm going to show here, because this is one of the things you want to push back on. It was so successful. Let's see if it's this one. Or is it this one? I think it's this one. It became so successful. I forget when they were. I think it was the Legacy arc. It still says Del Rey, not this one. Anyway, there are books on there. At one point, it was going so well that Lucasfilm created Lucasfilm Books to partner with Del Rey.
The subdivision.
That's how much it was working. So,
but my point with that is the franchise was so healthy despite no theatrical releases that when Force Awakens came out, the normies were excited about it because the diehards like you had been happily fed for those years and were excited about it, and they were still the Star Wars love in the air. But compare the lead up to Force Awakens to the lead up to Mandalorian and Grogu with almost a similar distance between theatrical releases.
Yeah.
It's not even a fraction. Like I'd call this like 3% of the excitement for Force Awakens. And it's partially because it's been so inundated at the television show level. There's just so much of it, and there's so much bad that it's oversaturated the normies. It's not, there's a new Star Wars event. This is a pivotal moment. This is a cinematic event. That's not what any of them were thinking. So they'll probably catch it on streaming if they do catch it at all.
And this jackass is assuming that parents with kids are showing them this stuff. Because this is a guy who's convinced, I'm going to show you in a bit, he is convinced Star Wars is for kids. He is convinced of that. Let's finish this up.
And why is he so obsessive about it?
Because
I don't think adults should be obsessive about kids' franchises to this degree.
His whole thing is that he watches it with his sons. And there's videos of him watching Rebels.
Justify the clothes.
And he goes to conventions, and him and his sons hang out with Dave Filoni at a convention. They got a picture taken. This guy's whole thing is it's with his sons, the eyes, and but never once does he ever talk about real Star Wars. All he ever talks about is Disney Star Wars. That's all he does.
9-year-old son named Bobby and a 6-year-old daughter named Susie, and
those sound like fake kids.
Yeah, and you know what? Birth rates are not saying who they are, but birth rates are not that high that you're going to have a 9 and 6-year-old son, right? 9-year-old son, 6-year-old daughter. Birth rates are not that high at the moment. Let's be honest. We know what's going on.
Memorial Day weekend, and during Memorial Day weekend, they're going to be sitting around the house, and they got an extra day off, and they're going to be trying to figure out what they're doing.
No, people are going to stay home because they're tired, and they want to go anywhere. And you know what? Also, gas is up. Whether we like it or not, gas prices are up. And
they're gonna barbecue.
They're gonna
hang out at home.
Barbecue. We're gonna be masochists that day because that's because one, it's a holiday. You got the day off, and I'm filling a promise that I made to the chat for this.
I think more kids are gonna be watching Mario. Actual kids.
Yeah.
Obviously, Mandalorian and Grogu is gonna make more that weekend than Mario, but
Mario's done. Mario's done. But kids are going to be playing games. They're going to barbecues. Memorial Day is about going to a barbecue. It's not about going to sit in a theater. We're just dumb. We're being made.
Yeah, Memorial Day is not a big cinematic weekend. That's not a cornerstone.
And they're going to remember because of all this marketing and all the buzz that's going on right now.
What buzz? X is not an indicator of buzz because it's the same 20 people reposting shit and bots watching they think that X interaction is buzz. If X interaction was buzz, Maul Shadowlord would have rated on Nielsen. Jed, we went over this multiple times. It still hasn't rated. It still didn't get on there in week 2.
They're going to remember that
nobody
there's that
cares.
new Star Wars
Nobody cares.
movie that's out with that guy that looks like Boba Fett and that baby Yoda, and the kids are going to be all excited about it because they've seen all the stuff on television.
Oh, first of all, nobody watches television, and there is no all this stuff on television. There is no marketing campaign
about it, and they've seen all the toys at the store.
What toys? I've walked through Walmart. You know what the Walmart toys are for Star Wars? Legos. And it's the new ones that light up with the Millennium Falcon and the X-Wing. There's no Mandalorian and Grogu toys when I walk through Walmart. And Walmart's where people buy toys now, unfortunately. That's where people buy toys. There ain't no Mandalorian Grogu shit on the shelves. It's not there. When I'm walking towards the pharmacy, I walk by it every week. And I look, and it's Legos. And the Legos are really for the adults these days, let's be honest.
Oh, absolutely. No, Star Wars merch is dead.
Yeah.
And they're going to go to John and Mary, their mom and dad, and they're going to say, can we go see that new Star Wars?
No, they're not. No, they're not. They're not. That's just, they create these scenarios for themselves to bolster their belief, and they cling to them.
This is an audience that does not buy pre-sale tickets. They're the ones that decide to.
Jed, we were talking about this yesterday in off camera. Pre-sales how tickets work now. Everybody buys a ticket in advance.
They have to.
Very rarely, and I'm that rare person who might walk up there on the occasion. Does anybody get that ticket when they walk through the door? You have to, especially if you're going in. Especially this guy just once again destroyed his own argument by not understanding. Because of pre-sale tickets, if you're going as a family, you must reserve your seats, enough seats next to each other. Otherwise, Mary and Bobby might have to go sit up front like this. So, this guy doesn't understand. If you don't get pre-sale tickets as a family, you're not going to get to sit next to each other. Unless it's Mandalorian and Grogu and it hasn't sold a lot of tickets. But real going to movies, because Jed, you confirmed this to me, you have to buy those tickets ahead of time.
You just need to these days.
You go to movies way more than I do these days. You go way more than I do.
Oh, yeah. And I always buy them in advance now because I don't want to get there and find out that all the good seats are taken and be like, all right, we'll do a later showing and then have to kill time for 2 hours or something like that. And when it's a good movie, it's you're never going to have a chance. Or opening weekend. Yeah. Adam, I posted this on Twitter, but I don't know if you saw this. The 6th time I watched Project Hail Mary last weekend, the theater was sold out. Mm-hmm. There were maybe 3 empty seats in that theater.
Mm-hmm. Goodwill.
I mean, yes, it was a small one, but still, it's a sold out theater in its 7th week of release.
Yeah. I mean,
Mandalorian and Grogu will not have that, but you need to buy tickets in advance to, not get
blindsided
by something like that.
A family does not decide 2 hours before a movie to go to the movies.
Because it takes so much effort to get kids ready to get out of the house.
Yes. Have you peed? Have you eaten? Did you pee again?
Why'd you take off your shoes again?
Yeah. Stop poking your sister. I mean, let's get in the car. The little brothers are going to go like this. They're going to fuck with their little sisters. That's what happens. Or little brother, whatever. It's this going out as a family is a plan. This guy I've seen the pictures. He has teenage sons. It's easy to throw a couple of teenage sons in the car and go do something. But he's talking about, he mentions a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old. You ain't on 2 hours suddenly deciding to throw a 9-year-old and a 6-year-old in a car on Memorial Day weekend.
Depending where they live, the traffic's going to be pretty rough too.
Yeah. So this guy creates an unrealistic perspective of normies because guess what? He doesn't know what the fuck a normie is, like I said 10 minutes ago. Doesn't know.
Hours before the movie starts, whether or not they're going to go see it. And that is what's going to actually elevate this movie beyond the box office projections that you're seeing from a lot of the experts right now.
Box office projections take stuff like this into account. It's not just saying we have this many pre-sales so far. That's not how predictions work. Otherwise, it would just say this is how much been sold in pre-sales.
Jed, as much as we shit on the show media, projections are generally right.
They're not bad unless there's a big surprise or something unexpected. Yeah, they're pretty on point.
Unless there's a last-minute heel turn where somebody says something horrible that's going to turn people off or does something really awesome that's going to get people motivated. Projections are generally right within about, I would say, a $10 million give or take.
And the predictions for this domestically are about $80 million. That's just a little bit higher than Project Hail Mary got.
And it's lower than Solo. Mm-hmm. And as we always say, your premiere weekend, for opening weekend, that sets the pace for your box office, your total box office, your worldwide box office.
Mm-hmm. Most movies, if they do decently, will double.
We're losing them. I think we lost them.
Older,
damn it. We're losing you. You're lagging out. We haven't heard you for the past 30 seconds. There we go. Sorry, he'll come back. Anyway, point is, I think I know what point he was making, but I'll let him say it because I only got a couple words out of it. But the box office for this opening weekend, if it's 80 million domestic, maybe it's 100 million worldwide. This thing will likely not break 200 million worldwide in its opening weekend. Maybe it might because it's a holiday weekend, but it's going to be a struggle. But after that, the dip, the tanking, the legs are going to get kneecapped on this thing. And it will not hit. It needs to make $450 million to break even. And if it's lucky, that is its ceiling. That is the ceiling on Mandalorian and Grogu. With its $180 odd million budget, I think it is, plus the marketing. This thing's got a minimum of $200 million combined. And as I was saying, Jed, this thing is likely only going to make about overall worldwide between, I would say, between 180 and 200 for its opening weekend worldwide. That's my feeling. You there?
Still, and that won't be enough.
Okay, there we go.
You guys look great. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, but your voice is.
But yeah, it's a break even.
Go ahead. Yeah.
It needs what?
450. 450.
A little. Yeah. It's never going to get there, and if it does, it's barely going to get profit.
Yeah, well, and if it does, it's enough to buy Dave Filoni a Baldo, is what it's going to be. So, if you know, you know. Anyway, so this guy proves, and we focused on him for this because it proves he has no concept of the reality in the real world and how any of this works. This guy is how do I want to put this? He's an armchair analyst. He's an armchair reviewer. He's an armchair thing. He hasn't, listen, am I a professional? No. But I spent a lot of years doing this at this point. I understand the flow of a movie box office. I understand the flow of the public. I know what's a real metric and what isn't. This guy's making shit up to suit what he believes and wants to have happen. Is that a fair statement?
They're constantly trying to shape reality to their delusions.
Yeah. So we're done with him for this segment. But now, as I transition too early,
a lot of these
Star Wars stands. Oh, go ahead. Oh man, Spectrum's hitting you hard right now.
I didn't say anything.
You started to say something and then you froze. So I thought we lost you. Damn it.
No, I didn't say anything.
Okay.
I'll just
you know what it was
right now.
Okay. Yeah, you see the camera off for a bit. So that's the Mandalorian Grogu Cope. That's the Mandalorian Cope. And real quick, before we move on to the next part, I do want to thank a good Sir Algram for another $9.99. I heard Colbert was recently involved in the handling of PDF file Pascal's helmet as well. They did kiss on one of Colbert's last show.
They did. Mm-hmm.
They full on man kissed, and everybody cheered them for it. Yeah,
pretty gross.
Yeah. It's for kids, everybody.
Yeah, how does this market a kids franchise
or
a movie? Period.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. The stands, as the result of the cope surrounding Mandalorian and Grogu, the stands are in overdrive defending Disney Star Wars. They have really kicked it up a notch. We noted on it a couple weeks ago when it started with Maul Shadow Lord and the number one on Disney Plus bullshit, and then the Acolytes trending too. And then it led into this very strange and delusional resurgence of trying to tell us The Last Jedi was good. Since then, they're doubling, tripling down. And I mentioned earlier, with these people, it's not about Star Wars, because these aren't Star Wars fans. They are stans. It's about fitting it into their ideology and personal world beliefs. So you are not surprised when you get this right here. And this goes back to what we're talking about. These people are not fans. They hate real fans, because real fans carried the franchise for 30 years and made it profitable for George Lucas and Lucasfilm. I've noted this guy plenty of times in the past, the Siege of sci-fi. Discussing the sequels is a terrible experience because half of the people engage in constructively... Excuse me, let me rephrase that. Read that wrong. Discussing the sequels is a terrible experience because half the people engage constructively with what you say, but the other half are giant crybabies who have to constantly whine about Rian Johnson destroying their childhood, racist MAGA idiots, or people who insist there hasn't been any good Star Wars since 1983. Truly places in the worst people camp you can be. Jed, how many times have we said that it's a Mandela effect of people saying it ruined their childhood? That never actually has been said.
No one actually says that. Like you always say, Star Wars is not dead. The real material isn't killed by new additions that are shit. Otherwise, no one would be watching the old stuff. No, like Dre and I a few weeks ago with Return of the Jedi, no one would get excited like that talking about the old stuff. And that's true of every other franchise. We don't act like it ruins our childhood. We just say, this sucked. Why did it suck? You betrayed the franchise. We reject this as canon.
Yeah, and for 30 years, again, for over 30 years, we'll go all the way to 77 to 2012. Star Wars really was for everybody, and you never equated anything political with it. But every time they get back to a corner, it has to be, you're a MAGA idiot.
That's how they straw man it. They can disregard every dissenting opinion because when they label it something like this is their tactic all the time. If you say your enemy something evil, like a racist, then their opinion doesn't matter and they don't have to argue because they're incapable of arguing anything with facts and logic.
Yeah, and it gets worse because my whole argument around these people is that they are not real Star Wars fans. They only care about everything after 2012. And therefore, they frame everything with Disney Star Wars and make a statement like this. Star Wars is like Narnia. If you grow up and stop believing like Susan did, you will no longer enjoy the galaxy far, far away and become a hating asshole online. We've already said over and over again, real Star Wars fans from 1977 to 2012 bought everything, played everything, read everything possible. There was no pause in enjoying Star Wars for 30 years. They equate people not liking Disney Star Wars with stopping to believing in imagination and fun and this and that. That's what they equate that, because if you don't like it, you have to be a hate-filled asshole. And that's not the truth. Real Star Wars fans were clamoring for every little bit we got because, as Jed has said previously, up until 2012, Star Wars was a healthy brand. You could say you put anything out and it made money. Didn't matter what it was. It made money. This is delusion. And it proves these people do not take into account anything before 2012. But we keep going. Every time a Star Wars fan tries to make sequel trilogy hate go viral, we end up getting announcements for new content. I think this cosmic revenge from the universe is beautiful. These products, these books, these comics we put out, they don't sell. They don't make any money. 1 second here. The actual budget, Moon Trustee, for Superman was $363 million. That was their actual production budget. Reported by Hollywood Reporter itself, a shill, plus a marketing budget of $150-200 million. That means its total production was over $500 to $600 million, which means its break even was essentially $1 billion. So
yes, those are the numbers that have been reported. You're looking at the old numbers when you say 225, and it compounds because of the 2.5. So Project Hail Mary cost between $190 and $200 million. 2.5 times like that, which is the industry standard, it's a break-even point of around $500 million, closer to $475 if you take the 190. That means it made $150 million profit at least.
Yeah,
that's not cope. Those are the numbers. That's just what it is.
And even with the fake Superman number of 225, you still add in the marketing one, which we know. We don't even have to multiply it by 2.5. That's still
It's just
a
two with the
$400 million on over $400 million budget, and their break even was 650. They didn't even make that. So Superman, its break even was an entirely different break even than Project Hail Mary's. Now, Project Hail Mary had a high budget. That was a high budget. They had a very
it was
small
higher than it
marketing
should have
campaign.
been.
It was a very small marketing campaign, so it made some profit. Wasn't huge profit, but it did make some profit. Unlike James Gunn's Superman, which
it hit 660 recently. So 660 break-even point of 500 million. That's at least $150 million of profit.
That is why we stress so often what a break-even number is. Something can gross this and that. You don't look at gross. Look at what the break-even is. Then look at the gross and say, okay, when did they start making money? Project Hail Mary started making money as soon as it crossed the roughly around $475-500 million mark. So it started making money. James Gunn may have made similar amount of money with Superman 2025, but they never crossed their break-even point, even by their own metrics. They can claim
it doesn't mean the same thing for every movie.
Yeah, so that's why break-even calculation is so important, and why we mentioned earlier gross versus net profit is such an important factor that a lot of people who defend these horrific things do not understand. And I guarantee in the next 2 weeks, a lot of people are not going to understand gross versus net when it comes to Mandalorian and Grogu. All right, but these things right here, these horrible comic books by Kylo Ren, these stupid books they make up to fill in the plot holes of the sequel trilogy, they don't make money. They don't sell. Disney Star Wars destroyed Star Wars as a profitable literature brand for science fiction and fantasy. Destroyed it completely. And then we're back to our favorite. This goes to the insane defense. The Holdo maneuver is visually stunning. The Holdo maneuver is emotionally devastating. The Holdo maneuver is a perfect act of sacrifice. But why hasn't anyone done this before? Because you have to ram your ship at light speed into an enemy fleet, which we already said, why not just do it with a droid? Why not just do it?
And you've never had martyrs in a cause before?
Yeah. Which means everyone on your ship dies, including yourself. So you have to evacuate the ship first, or you're killing everyone you're trying to save. It's not a tactic, it's goodbye. This is, the Last Jedi defense. They keep trying to rehash failed concepts. And this is the proof of people who are living in a fantasy world. They're the ones who say we keep bringing this stuff up. They keep bringing it up because they have to keep defending it to justify its existence. We never had to justify the existence of the original trilogy. There were arguments over the prequel trilogy, but you don't have to justify the existence of it because George Lucas made it. Whether you like it or not, George Lucas made the prequel trilogy. That makes it canon. And that leads me to my statement on this now. These individuals like Tatooine Sons, like this jackass, like these jackasses here, what in their programming, by Dragon Lady, what in their programming makes it so that they're so willing to dismiss everything made in Star Wars during the George Lucas era and willingly accept all Star Wars non-made by George Lucas? What is that is something that I still to this day fail to understand.
They have to. It's incompatible. Yeah, it's incompatible, so they have to dismiss it. It's the same thing that they're doing with the Odyssey right now, is they have to tear down what came before to say, it's actually not that good. You guys are just nostalgia-brained, and so that's the only way to legitimize their current stuff.
Okay. I'll take that as an answer. They have to legitimize it. They have to make it fit into their worldview. Otherwise, it doesn't work because their favorite thing to say is, Star Wars is always political. And my response has always been, no, Star Wars was always politically themed. It had political themes in it, but it didn't lean towards one political ideology or another. It just simply said totalitarianism bad, democracy good, which is a fair statement. Nobody wants to live in a dictatorship. Nobody wants to be oppressed. Everybody wants freedom of choice. Everybody wants to have proper representation in their government. Nobody wants evil ruining your day. People want heroes to rise up and defeat the evil. That's the themes that Star Wars put out. Never Star Wars is always against the fascist pigs, the fascist MAGAs. That's not how it works. But as Jed just
No, there's
rightly
no
said,
secretly vote blue message.
yes, there isn't. I mean, George Lucas is not a man. He is a man of the left. He is. We're not gonna mince words. George Lucas believes in liberal ideology, but he was able to remove that from his art and still tell a fantastical world story. Not direct it well at times. The best stuff is directed by other men, but he still created this massive world and then handed it over to people in the EU who understood it as well and could still make it better and never made it political. But in this era, these people, these stands, these Disney Star Wars stands, they have to make it political to fit what they're revealed. Otherwise, it all falls apart. And you reach shit like this. Say it after me. Star Wars is for kids. We said it repeatedly. We'll say it one more time. If Star Wars is for kids, then George Lucas would not have told Carrie Fisher that there's no underwear, no bras in space, and her tits, her very ample bosom, will not have bounced all over the place in A New Hope. When they're running down those halls of the Death Star, her titties are bouncing everywhere. That's not made for 12-year-old boys. That's made for 15-year-old boys and above who are very attracted to boobs. And then we move forward, as we talked about before.
Slave Leia.
Okay, then we go, all right, go to Return of the Jedi. Yeah, that's not made for kids. That's made for men right there. Leia in the gold bikini is made for men. That is still a sexual fantasy imprinted on all of our Gen X brains, okay? And then we go forward, prequel trilogy. How many times are people getting decapitated in the sequel trilogy? Prequel trilogy. How many times people get decapitated all over the place? Lots. Dooku decapitated in the first 30 minutes. Yoda killing clone troopers all over the place. Decapitations. Hey, kids, decapitations. If it's made for kids, then how come it's marketed to adults? Then how come there's adult situations? Now, The Clone Wars, the cartoon show, that was made for a younger audience, Jed, and you can agree.
Oh,
with that,
absolutely.
Yeah, that was made for a young audience. But Star Wars is for, and I say this unironically, Star Wars was made for everyone. It was made to be family friendly, but it was made for everyone. And then when you go to stuff like the EU and the video games, a lot of hardcore shit. Again, show and tell right now. Show and tell. Show and tell. Star by Star is a story about essentially sending young Jedi apprentices, Padawans. These kids are not full Jedi. They're sent on what is essentially a suicide mission to kill the Voxan Queen, so that the Voxan, these Jedi-killing monsters that the Yuuzhan Vong are using to kill Jedi, they're sent on a suicide mission, and 80% of the squad dies, including, spoilers for the EU, I apologize, there's your warning, including Anakin Solo. He goes out in a blaze of glory, defending his friends so someone get away. Jason Solo gets captured by the Vong, and unknowingly, because of a essentially out-of-place Sith, starts getting put on a path to becoming Darth Caedus. This is a story about children getting killed for the greater good. That's not made for kids. It's about depression. From that point on, it leaves a scar on Tahiri Vela, who then is manipulated by Jason, Darth Caedus, into nearly becoming a Sith herself later on. There's some serious stuff in these books. But it's Star Wars, it's for kids. No, Star Wars, Disney Star Wars is for drooling Disney Star Wars adults who are not here because they love Star Wars. They're here because of the messaging. They walk around in their little Clone Wars helmets. I was wearing a shirt. I was wearing a Star Wars shirt to church. Shouldn't you be dressed up for church? Isn't that how that works? And I don't go to church. It's not my religion, so I don't know. Point is, it's not made for intelligent people. It's made for stupid people. And because they realize they're stupid, they make all the excuses, as we talked about before, with the Mandalorian Grogu propaganda. It's okay that it's dumbed down. It's okay that it doesn't have stakes. As I said, this had stakes. Look at the size of this thing. Big-ass book. Total page run of 605 pages. had stakes. People died. Their lives were changed. Jason Solo's life was changed forever. After this, Jaina went down close to going dark side herself, if not for Kip. Making sure, as a good master does, that she didn't go down the wrong dark path because she was depressed and she was doing dangerous shit. This is Star Wars. Meaningful. This is fucking slop. Made for low-grade, low-intelligence morons who think Star Wars is for kids. And that's their argument, not understanding who haven't been there, who didn't do anything for the franchise, except accept it once Disney took it over, because as Jed said, they have to. Otherwise, it doesn't fit in with their narratives. Star Wars isn't dead. Disney Star Wars is dead and dying right before your eyes. And in a week, we're going to get true numbers because they've been afraid. Jed, they pushed Mando and Grogu back by a year. They punted this a year back. This should have been out last year. They punted it because they know they got a loser on their hands, and we're going to see it. It's going to be glorious. Numbers do not lie, but people do. Oh, all right, we're done with that. That went a little. Oh, I did it again. Dang it! It's because you're not here.
I'm still here.
No, it's because you're your avatar form, and I didn't accept you as that. No, because I'm an idiot. That's a daily dive quirk that I do to keep myself on the screen properly. All right, now it's time for Jed to get angry. Thank you, everybody, for being here, though, and for hanging out with us, even though now it's just me and the ginger. Thank you, guys. Hit those like buttons. Hit the like button, guys. Like button is important. It shows YouTube you care. Hit that go. I saw people coming in while we were doing that. I see you guys here. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, coming in late, hanging out. I hope you guys are having a good time. We really do. We want you to enjoy yourselves. Anyway, all right. So Disney Star Wars is not the only thing that's a problem right now as the summer begins. Roughly, we'll just say June, end of May. 2 months, Jed. Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. Last week, we broke down the trailer, and a lot of our predictions came true the next day, a couple days later, with the announcements of cast members. And then there's still one glaring announcement that hasn't been there, but I'm sure we're going to get that sooner or later. But we saw, as you said earlier in the show, for the first time ever, really, not just unique criticisms, but genuine pushback, genuine disdain, genuine real backlash. Christopher Nolan, he's people are not pleased with what they've seen of the Odyssey so far. Are they? Not at all. We lost him. I threw it to him and we lost him. Live television, everybody. There we go. He's back. Okay, you're back. I'm going to toss it to you again.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to toss it to you again. This is the first time that Christopher Nolan has truly received genuine backlash over something. There's been criticisms, sound always isn't good. This movie wasn't for me. But this is the first time that he's seen genuine, full-on pushback to a major movie production. Is that true to say?
I would definitely agree with that. The closest previous one that was like this is Tenet, but that one had so many excuses with it being soon after COVID. Theaters were still locked down, and there were people who were fascinated by the concept. So it was a much more mixed bag. No one was in the lead up this upset about it. No one knew what Tenet was until after it came out and the problems became revealed. So yeah, he's never experienced this, I think, in his entire career. Maybe at the beginning when no one knew who he was, they were questioning him a little bit. That was over 20 years ago. So yeah, he literally doesn't know how to handle this. He is not on social media. He actually hates social media, which I can respect him for. Yeah. He doesn't allow phones on set. He doesn't allow chairs on set. And he controls the actors' bathroom breaks. So he doesn't understand the world of the internet. So this happening to him is something that he's never experienced before, never prepared for. He hasn't even really seen it happen to other people because he's so detached from reality, honestly. And he's been able to make great work up to this point because he's so detached. But at this point, his ego got the best of him. He thought he was better than Homer.
Yeah.
And
sorry.
But with all this backlash, I do have to say sometimes the Nolan defenders are right. My bias is completely switched. My goodwill for Nolan is gone. So I think this movie is going to be a disaster. But they are right to point out some of the criticism is ridiculous. Nolan got 7 Oscars for Oppenheimer. So I don't think, like Elon Musk is saying, I don't think he did all this in the Odyssey for the Oscars. And Helen of Troy and Achilles or Alpino, or whoever Paige is playing, they're such small roles that they don't matter in the grand scheme of things. Yes, they're really bad casting. They're really indicative, like you said, of larger issues. But there are many things to criticize more. Like people are latching onto the shot of Athena on the beach sitting next to Odysseus who's unconscious on the beach. Don't use that scene to say the whole movie looks bland and fake. Every scene looks gray and colorless. That's the one scene that in the book it says she summoned mist or whatnot to disguise the land of Ithaca from him. So yes, some of the criticism is coming from the wrong place. Troy is not something we should be comparing it to more than as a joke. Troy is not a good adaptation of the Iliad. So I am at the center of this storm that is pissing me off because there's people criticizing it for the wrong reasons, coming to the right conclusions, and that pisses me off. And then there's all these people on the other side, like Variety and these articles,
who are running cover.
Who are running cover saying shit like, oh, Homer's not that big of a deal. It's all fiction. It's all space wizards. It doesn't matter. Homer might not even be real. Why do you care? Helen of Troy maybe wasn't real. And it's just a fundamental misunderstanding of how important these books are. They're more influential to human culture than nearly anything. Beowulf, I think, is one of the only commonly used stories that is older than the Odyssey.
Yeah, it's the first epic poem known. Beowulf is the first epic poem known to man.
It stood the test of time better than anything else. The biggest figures in Western civilization throughout history, Alexander the Great, Julius Caesar, George Washington, they all reference how these books, Homer's works, inspired them. And so to see them degrade Homer to support Nolan's bastardization pisses me off.
Yeah. The only other tale that probably ranks up there is the story of Gilgamesh. That's the only one that that is as old as these stories.
I don't think people read it as much, but it is old and heavily influenced.
I'm just using it terms as old, something that has stood the test of time alongside Beowulf and Homer's epics. Those are the three, and I'm going to put Iliad and Odyssey together as one. Those are the three that are up there in terms of these are some of the oldest storytellings of all time for mythology and stuff like that. Anyway, but as you just said, I think you're absolutely right. Nolan has never faced this, and his insulation, while in the past, has allowed him to make movies that, at the very least, are objectively well-made movies. How much you like them is your own choice. Jed and I have had many discussions where he likes it and I don't, but I can objectively say it's a well-made movie. But he's been so insulated that he's never faced true criticism. And I think you're absolutely right that he doesn't know how to react to this, and his response has been terrible. And it doesn't help when we hear Variety running cover in totally basically blaming Elon Musk and his troll army. All right, listen, no, we're not his troll army. We're just laughing at him when he does something.
And he is wrong with what he's focused on.
I agree. Nolan already has his Oscars. He did what he's done with the casting, and as you said, the casting is not the breaking point. It's
those two. I think everyone is.
No. We talked about that on our last breakdown of this. The entire cast is wrong, if you ask me. I don't like anybody in this cast. I felt it was wrong from the beginning. But when you start miscasting, and when you start doing things, it isn't the breaking point, but it's the door through which we understand how you're approaching this epic. Because we now go to this. We are not going to read this Time article because it's massive. It is a giant fluff piece. But I do want to read this 7 because we don't have quote tweets for it. But then we're going to go to the quote tweets that lock into other things that I know Jed has specifically zeroed in, as many other people have. Let me zoom in a little for the audience here, though. Hold on one second. Comparing Emily Wilson, Evie Ryu, and Robert Fagel's translations of the Odyssey, and this is Nolan talking. I feels less like I'm interviewing. Oh no, to the director. Sorry, it's the person talking. I feel less like I'm interviewing a director than sitting in office hours with a particularly approachable professor. He has studied the period, which I don't believe at this point. And the film is aware of a historical moment. The Trojan War marks the end of the Bronze Age, and Greece is about to plunge into a dark age of fallen kingdoms and lost literacy. He also studied the text and made several striking adaptation choices. Jed, I know what you're thinking. I'm going to have the perfect pitch to you in 1 second. Argos, Odysseus' loyal dog, has been promoted from a cameo to a bit player. Odysseus and his son Telemachus, burdened by the legend of his father he doesn't remember, are given more time together. Circe, an archetype in Homer's version, gets a humanizing update thanks to Samantha Morton's unsettling yet sympathetic performance. And the reunion between Odysseus' fellow king Menelaus and his wife Helen, the most beautiful woman in the world, blamed for starting the war after a Trojan prince. Just say Paris. Just prove you have some education and say Paris. Prince spirited her away, has always felt too neatly resolved in the poem because it was resolved. Nolan complicates it, and in a twist, Nyong'o also plays Helen's sister Clytemnestra, whose marriage to Menelaus' brother Agamemnon is, to put it mildly, acrimonious. So let's go to the first part of this. Translations. This is the translation, Jed, you have said that Nolan is using. Christopher Nolan chose Wilson's 2017 translation of the Odyssey, one of the worst translations with a clear feminist woke agenda and a strong emphasis on the women in the Greek poem. Emily chose The Ladies in Blue for her cover, a Minoan fresco that has nothing to do with the Odyssey. Jed, is there any false in this statement?
There is nothing false in this statement. She decided that the original work was too complicated for modern people. It's not inclusive. Like, she has interviews where she talks about the old, like Robert Fagel's translation. It's inaccessible to different levels of education, and so people aren't able to experience it equally. So that's why she dumbed down the language. And she also said the language at the time didn't sound all that archaic. So why should it sound archaic now? Homer came 400 years after the Battle of Troy, the War of Troy. So yeah, it would have seemed a little archaic what he was writing versus how they spoke in his era. That's the equivalent of Shakespeare compared to us. That's why Old English and English accents make a lot of sense for an American adaptation, to give that same sense of archaicness. And for an example of her choosing modern day politics over the source material, there's an interview her talking about Polyphemus, where she says, I saw him as a metaphor for indigenous people and how white colonialism degrades them and abuses them and whatnot. So I couldn't bring myself to call the Cyclopes savages or anything like that.
I'm sorry. That's injecting modernism into something written thousands of years ago.
They weren't a metaphor for Native Americans, you fucking nitwit.
But this is, to bring it back now, this is who Nolan used for his script, because Nolan wrote this. He wrote this. He didn't farm it out. He put his hand on this. His thumbprints are all over this. This is who he used. Someone who doesn't understand the Odyssey or Homer.
If you're not using Robert Fengels, you're not a fan of the Odyssey. Like, any true fan of the Odyssey probably read the Fengels version. They would rather burn her copy than use it as reference material for even a quote. Like, hers is a true abomination of the story. So, of course, his foundation was built on sand.
Yeah. So now, here is where Nolan stands. He's pushing back. Now, right here, talking about this is what they went with, and he's okay. This is that when they say that Nolan studied this. If this is his extent of studying using this dumb bitch's translation, then Nolan doesn't care for this work. He's choosing the purposefully politicized version because that's what suits him. He doesn't actually care about it. But then we go further. So we talked about the casting a lot last week, and then we had it confirmed a couple of days later. Yes, Lupita Nyong'o. If Dre was here, he'd tell me not to try and do that, but I did it anyway. It will be Helen, as we surmised. We couldn't say it was true, but we surmised. We were proven true a couple of days later. you want to hear our thoughts on that, we've already said it. We're not going to dig too deep. We just want to say we were right. But at the same time, Jed, her sister is not a twin sister. Clytemnestra is not a twin sister.
They're half sisters.
Yeah.
They can't look identical. That fundamentally changes the story in multiple ways.
Yeah.
For one, how is she the most beautiful woman in the world if they literally have a duplicate?
Yeah.
Like they're the two most beautiful women in the world. So the whole point of Aphrodite gifting Paris the most beautiful woman in the world physically cannot make sense now. And she is supposed to be the demigod child of Zeus. Yes, there was some swan bullshit with an egg.
Whatever.
Absolutely,
it's mythological bullshit, but she's still a
normal
daughter
mythological
of Zeus.
stuff.
Yeah, she's
but
a daughter of Zeus.
Taking out whether or not the existence of Zeus is real or anything like that, obviously not. But in the era, no one would have believed that she was the demigod of Zeus, which is part of her story, if she had an identical twin.
And I'm going to say it, she can't be black. This is not ranging to northern Africa at all, even though, yes, of course, northern Africa touches Mediterranean. She's not black.
And northern Africa aren't sub-Saharan.
Yeah. This is ridiculous.
They did have a connection to sub-Saharans. Like in Greek mythology, Dionysus actually grew up in what is modern-day Ethiopia. There is a connection, but her lineage through the kings of, I believe, Sparta?
Yeah, because Menelaus is king of Sparta, yes.
Well, no, her ancestry, not his.
But she's there. But if she's marrying a Spartan king, then she would be in Sparta. Yeah.
Right. I'm just specifically thinking about her ancestry because I think she married in from a different kingdom, so it must not be Sparta. But her ancestry through the kings of Greece, because she was a princess, it would be Greek.
Yeah, but and these are the Greek gods. These are the Greek gods. This is the Grecian world. All right? She's not black. So people and all they want to do is call us racist and bigots. The response to this for our pushback is you're racist and bigots. That's all they have. Fine.
I always give them an olive branch for it because there is a character who has way more lines than her, who is more fundamental to the story that you can argue could be black in the movie and be totally fine. That is Calypso.
Yeah,
She's an
played
island
by
nymph.
Once played by Vanessa Williams.
Yeah,
Or she
that
plays
one
Circe.
you have a huge argument for making her black. If Lupita had been Calypso, I would have argued about her beauty again.
Also,
Calypso is
God.
supposed to be beautiful.
Also, Calypso, a god.
She was a nymph.
No, Circe's the god. Sorry, Circe's.
Yeah. No, Circe's not a god either.
Witch.
Yeah, she's a witch. Calypso is the daughter of Atlas the Titan, though. So she is a cousin once removed from the Olympian 12.
Either way, we're not going to stress so much which is, even though I think it's wrong, I think Zendaya is a horrible cast as Athena.
That's way worse than this. Zendaya is way worse than any of these other ones that people keep harping on.
Yeah.
She's the worst in the film.
Yeah, because one, she's not a good actress, and two, again, I don't want to hear. You can't use current day Percy Jackson as your excuse. Oh, they want to blend in. No, they would have looked Greek. They would have looked olive skin. Point is,
because they wanted to blend in Greece.
Yeah. So this got proven very quickly, but now we get back to this Time article crap. And there are two major quotes I want to go out of. Jed, you have another one. Feel free to bring it up. But these are the two I know you are also zeroed in on. There's this one. Christopher Nolan instructed Ludwig Göransson, that's a name I'm not going to try to pronounce right, not to use an orchestra for the Odyssey score. It's not like the orchestra existed back then. It was a challenge and also an opening to try and make something unique. Jed, whenever we do Saturday Night Drive-In, we always have a key moment saying our score may be at this point, and if the score is epic, like a John Williams score, it elevates the movie even higher. This movie's score sounds like it's going to be abysmal if there's no orchestra. This is a $200+ million movie made purely on IMAX. And you're telling me
we're not going to hear shit.
Well, that's a different discussion. But you're telling me that you didn't put in a legitimate big budget movie score? This is ridiculous. All because I want to be unique and they didn't have orchestras. They had orchestras back then, just not modern day orchestras.
Well, did you know the word orchestra actually comes from ancient Greece? And
No, I did not.
it's I think it's the part of the stage where the chorus stands.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, they didn't have it in our modern sense, obviously, but they did have orchestra in a sense.
Yeah.
And my problem with this is, yes, you can make good music that isn't orchestra based. I fucking love choral music.
Oh yeah.
I'm a big defender of choral music, but this is where you draw the line in historical accuracy. A fucking 3D printed Batman wasn't a problem for you. Rap music, because it's oral tradition.
Wait, we're not there yet. That's the next one.
That's not the line for you. Race swap, which is, only, I think that's like less than 5% of the problems in this movie is the race swap. But this is where you draw the line. This is the dumbest place to draw the historical accuracy line, when not a single costume looks accurate, not a single, the boat is a Viking longship. It all looks like it was filmed in the Northern Sea, the North Sea, and the sets all look
the
wrong.
Mediterranean is not that violent. I mean, the story makes it violent because Poseidon is pissed.
Right. Yeah. Story-wise, it is that violent. But the Mediterranean and Greece specifically, that's one of the most colorful eras in human history, from the beautiful landscapes that still exist today in Greece to what that culture looked like. A lot of people have been, have their idea of ancient Greece warped by what the statues and buildings look like today. They've all been bleached by the sun for the last 3,000 years. But when they are restored properly, every single one of those statues is in vibrant color. There are mosaics on the floor and roofs of every building. There should be more color in this Project Hail Mary. And yet he's got 3 color grading choices. He's got dark blue, gray, and on fire. Those are the 3 color choices in this film, when there should be 1,000.
Yeah. And you're roboting hard.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. No, you're okay now. But yeah, but to me also, this tells me part of the experience of a movie is an epic soundtrack. And you get caught up in it, and it sticks with you. This is why John Williams is the GOAT, because he just made one epic soundtrack after another that made all these movies better than they had to be. And if you're telling me you're going to make me sit through 3 hours of a movie with no orchestrated soundtrack for a movie that clearly deserves it, what are you smoking, dude? What are you telling me? It tells me you don't really care about our experience. You care about the IMAX experience, but you really don't care about our audience experience. Because I don't give a fuck about IMAX. What I want is a clean-looking movie that sounds good, acted well, has a narrative that either I'm familiar with or expect, or at least adapted well, and at the same time has music that makes me remember, that connects me to the scene. I doubt there's going to be anything from this music that connects to any scene properly if you couldn't be bothered to do an orchestra. And then there's this, as Jed mentioned it. We know that Travis Scott, some rapper who I couldn't name a song of his if you paid me $1 million. I didn't know who he was till I saw him fucking up WWE. I didn't know who he was till then. Christopher Nolan explains his choice to cast Travis Scott in the Odyssey. I cast him because I wanted a nod towards the idea that this story has been handed down as oral poetry, which is analogous to rap. Full disclosure, I hate rap. I have been around since rap became a thing, since it was born. I've always considered it bad. I tried my hardest to be a white kid getting into it at one point, because all my friends were, and I never could do it. I don't understand it. It's not for me. I don't like it. But you know where it doesn't really. I guess it has its place in certain culture for certain cultural groups. That's fine, and I understand that. So go enjoy it there. You know where it doesn't belong? In a Greek epic, Jed. You there?
Yeah, it doesn't belong anywhere. It's in a Greek epic. Like, I can't think of a worse place for it possibly to exist, especially with him. Like, if it were non-story contextual, like if the end credit song was rap, like how Will Smith used to rap the end credit scenes of his songs of his movies, that's one thing. That's stupid. I can roll my eyes with. But the fact that he's written into the story as the ball telling the story of Trojan War, that's horrible. Because that is analogous to the Iliad.
Yeah. Yeah. And let's be honest. Rap, as I just said, it's not for everybody. No. And I guarantee the normie audience who are going into this, they're not going to be signing up for a low-grade rapper to be rapping the Trojan War in the beginning of this movie. But Nolan doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't understand. And this is where I come back to my point earlier where I said, I think Nolan has drank his own Kool-Aid. I think he believes his own bullshit now and he can just do anything he wants and no one's going to question him. Understand also, Travis Scott is not a beloved person in the realm of entertainment. After his WWE stint, he's reviled. People were like, what the fuck? He just ruined a lot of stuff. This guy's not that popular from what I understand. Somebody could tell me I'm wrong, whether chat or comment later on. But this is not a popular choice. But Nolan doesn't care. As I saw earlier, somebody said in the chat, and Frank said it, Nolan's turning into a cultural vandal with this movie.
Mm-hmm. Where are the Greeks in this movie? I don't think everyone needs to be Greek. Everyone needs to at least look Greek. But with Helen of Troy, she has barely any lines. Cast as Greek supermodel.
Yeah, she sits there. She stares off. She says a couple lines in the book, and that's it. But no,
she's broken.
We have to make a socio-political identity politics statement by casting a Black African woman as Helen of Troy. We have to get a rapper covered in tattoos to rap the Trojan War at the beginning of the movie. Because some people find him popular. And because rap is analogous to poetry. Only in some circles. Okay? Only in some circles.
It's not like they did Michael Jackson. Like a true cultural
transcended.
Icon.
Michael Jackson transcended entertainment. Travis Scott does not transcend entertainment. Rap does not transcend entertainment. It turns a lot of people off. I was walking back from picking up some packages at my Amazon hub in the complex here earlier today, and some FedEx truck was driving by after dropping something off in the complex. You know, FedEx trucks, they have their doors open. It's how they're designed, just like UPS trucks. Dude is blasting rap as he's driving through this complex. And all I'm thinking is, if I could, I would do horrible things to you right now because you are assaulting me with your music that I have no interest in and hate. My quiet, what quiet I get around here is being disturbed by your rap going, shut the fuck up. I am white as white can be, and I don't want to hear this shit. All right? I'm not going to pretend that I was into Tupac and I was into Biggie back then. Fuck them all. Don't give a shit. Nobody wants to hear your fucking music. Nobody wants to hear me playing Guns N' Roses at the top of the fucking volume as I drive down the street. I learned that 20 fucking years ago. Nobody wants to hear your music, and nobody wants to hear a rapper in the Odyssey. And this is now all of this coming together. The marketing for this has been a disaster. This movie is looking to, I'm not going to say flop. But it's not going to be a successful movie. This will not go down as an all-timer. And with a budget of over $200 million and the very heavy marketing campaign they are now putting into this thing's break even is easily $700 to $800 million. Easily that high. And it will likely get a lot of bad word of mouth. We've heard the dialogue of this movie. We know there's going to be no music to speak of, no real score to speak of. The acting is abysmal. The casting is wrong. It looks terrible. It's going to sound terrible because it's Nolan and it's fucking IMAX obsession, so it's going to sound like shit too. This movie is in for a rude awakening. And I'll say right now, I think this thing tops out at about $600 million. I think it tops out at about
I think so
million.
too. Right about that range. And that will mean it lost money.
Yeah. And you know what? Nolan, stop. You're done. If this could have been your swan song, this could have been your mark on cinema history because no one had done the Odyssey as a giant movie. And now you're going to suffer ridicule because you know what? You're only as important as the last thing you did in these days. And if it's the last thing he did, this will tarnish his legacy because he's also tone deaf. It's proving he's tone deaf. If these are his responses, he's tone deaf. He only cares about himself. He doesn't care about putting out an experience that audiences will love. He cares about what tickles his fancy. And that means people are probably going to be angry when all is said and done. And I hope, as Jed has said, that they remember to argue and be angry for the right reasons, not the cheap reasons. Black Helena Troy is dumb. Possibly Ellen Page playing a man is dumb. But those aren't the biggest problems. There are way more problems. And we're going to find out those problems going forward. Jed, you have anything else you want to say on this before we wrap it up?
No, just reiterating that be angry for the right reasons. There are a million reasons to think this movie is going to be a disaster. If we hyperfixate on what are, in the grand scheme of things, rather unimportant things, you open the door for ridicule and, being wrong about how Athena shows up. That makes everyone criticizing the film look bad. So if we're going to be vocal about it, we need to be right about it.
Yeah. Talk about the bad dialogue, the bad writing, the bad acting, the bad overall casting, the bad production value, everything. Talk about the whole thing. Be macro, don't be micro. Be macro. Big picture criticism. All right, that's it. We're done with that one. And we're disappointed because we were excited for this when it was announced. We were excited.
I definitely was. My favorite book and my favorite director. I thought this could have been the greatest movie of all time.
Yep. And instead, we're looking at one of the greatest disasters in recent history. Not of all time, just in recent history. There we go. All right. We're done. Let's wrap it up before Jed's internet explodes.
I know. I'm sorry, guys. I haven't had this much of a problem in a while.
It's been a few months since you had a problem. Yeah. So anyway. All right. Thank everybody for being here. Let's go around. Let's just meet Jed. So let's see what we're doing, and we'll promote some things because we have to promote the Day of Doom. So Jed, what's your week prior to the Day of Doom look like?
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube at The Endless Frontiers. I'm going to be live tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern for Right or Flight, and Chat Choose Your Adventures, of course, coming back. But in the discussion section, there's a story about pirates polluting Loch Ness. I cannot believe this is a real story that I'm going to talk about.
Oh, geez.
I have gotten, I pre-ordered the deluxe edition of Lego Batman, so I will be playing that Tuesday or Thursday night as soon as it's made available. I don't know like what time it unlocks or anything like that. So I'll be streaming that whenever I get a chance because I want to have it done before James Bond comes out. And that's about it, since there won't be a drive-in or roundtable this week. And of course, Try Hard's Friday night at 10 p.m. Eastern.
Which I will not be at because I'll just be sitting in my hotel room because my laptop is not geared for streaming. Anyway, technically, it's my laptop. It's not my laptop.
You'll be in the chat.
No, I won't.
No?
No, I'll be there. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. It's like I have a night off. No, you don't.
At least you can multitask.
Yeah. Anyway, as for me, this week, we will just see how it goes. I will attempt at least Monday through Wednesday to do Daily Dive so that I keep you guys updated on what's going on for the Day of Doom. Other than that, we'll see what happens in terms of videos and other stuff. I'll try and get a couple of Crimson Desert streams in there. Maybe we can wrap it up. Probably not. But as of Thursday, I will probably not do anything until we have the Day of Doom on Monday, May 25th, we have decided we will be going live at Disney World Orlando at 2 p.m. Eastern for the pregame where we'll be walking into the park. And then once they scan my ticket and I walk through, then the performance begins where I will be parodying being a Stan for at least a lap or two. The chat, you guys will be there. You'll be involved. We'll give you guys reasons to do things. You'll get to choose the lightsaber, the droid. You won't see those. Those are going to be recorded because we can't live stream into there for probably reasons. But we'll do our best to provide you with the experience of me making a dancing monkey fool of myself. May 25th, 2 p.m. Eastern at Hollywood Studios, Galaxy's Edge, Orlando. So join for that. It'll be a doozy. We'll try to hit all the things you guys have made me do. Might be a couple things we can't do due to people not being there or rules that we are not allowed to infringe upon. And also, I might have to limit because I don't want police called on me. I don't want to be arrested for doing.
You do want to be
shit.
Banned there from life. Though,
banned,
so
yes,
no
yeah, but the band might be put me towards being arrested. So I don't want. I want to walk the line. Anyway, so other than that, as Jed said, there will be no Saturday Night Drive-In next Saturday because I can't do it if I'm not here at my own computer. Also, there will be no roundtable because we'll be doing stuff on Sunday. So again, I'm not here. But we will then return in a couple of weeks with another one. I have not chosen next drive-in, and then the following roundtable will be interesting, as well as that week where you'll get my Mandalorian Grogu multiple reviews, the fake review and the real review shortly right after that. Other than that, that's about it. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We do hope you had a good time. You can show that by hitting that like button, by subscribing to the channel if you are new here, and we will see you guys next time. Until then, everybody, take it easy and have a good rest of your day. Go. Yeah, okay.